Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me on tonight's Friday special, obviously, must be Kimo. And I'm proud to say also MvChu is on the show. What's happening, boys, man? Feels like an old classic show back from like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah! What's going on, Chew?
Brock 'em up. Let's go.
Kimo, you're going to provide us with some Prince Nassim later on in the show, with people expecting some he should retire moments.
Cam, listen. You're either good at boxing or you're not, alright? That's all I got to say.
Kimo, obviously,
Brock 'em up.
It's been a minute since you've been on the show. I think you haven't been on this year, so we got a lot to kind of cover. We'll probably start off with the freshest in mind from last week, I guess. Two sloppy heavyweights got in the ring and one got iced. So to start off with the white versus brown, colour versus colour. What did you think? What did you think, Kimo?
Oh, man, I was texting you guys saying how I had visions of Dillian Whyte just getting fucking laid out. But I think we all agreed as soon as the fight started, it was evident that Lucas Brown is probably the slowest man in boxing right now. Like, the guy was moving in absolute slow motion, hands down. Just no coordination as well. Like, just terrible footwork. I mean, he's just. We at least I throw the word bum around a lot these days, but he really sums it up, doesn't he? I mean, it was a fucking terrible performance, and he's the only guy that has made Dillian Whyte look like $1 million, and that should tell you enough, right? Because every other fight that I've seen of Dillian Whyte, I don't see any particular spectacular boxing skills, and he looked very fucking slick. He was able to get his combinations off and then ended with a violent knockout. But, I do got to take things a little bit into perspective. Like, yes, he looked good, but against who? Utter fucking disappointment. Yeah, I guess my hate for Dillian Whyte just kind of clouded my judgment, but this was no 50-50 fight by all means. What did you guys think?
Did you? I could throw it back to you just quickly, Kimo. Did you think Lucas Brown just thought, well, White shit, and when I land a clean shot on him, I'll take him out, and then because it didn't look like he trained that well, his timing was off. I know he's been inactive through promotional issues, and then the time he got popped, but it just seemed like he just didn't even have a camp really. Like, he was slow, lethargic, and I'm like you, like, I want to give Dillian a bit of credit for the knockout, which was impressive, but up until that point, like, how can you miss so many easy counter opportunities against this dude, man? He was lunging in with big right hands, and Dillian was missing like easy countering shots. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Drew. I'll jump in after that.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas Brown, there is a guy who, when he takes steroids, he's a different fighter. But when he's not on steroids, he's just what he is. He's just like a doorman, a bouncer. He was very, very bad. Dillian Whyte, I was anticipating a 50-50 fight, I won't lie. I was anticipating Brown winning, much like Kimo. And then after the fight, everyone was like, oh man, we all knew that Whyte was going to outbox him and not going to knock him out. No, we didn't. Last fight I saw Dillian Whyte, he was fighting Chisora and he went life and death. And I would say that Brown had got the best win out of the two of them by beating Shagiev in Russia. Even though Shagiev was fucking out of shape severely. But, like you guys said, Lucas Brown looked like shit. He was terrible. You've got to give Dillian Whyte credit. He did look good in spots as the fight grew on. He was looking fast. He was putting these combos together. He actually destroyed Lucas Brown. It was actually quite embarrassing.
Well, I think embarrassing is even an understatement. I mean, Whyte was I don't think he just beat him up. I think he probably changed his life. That was a fucking brutal beatdown, you know. And Lucas's downfall as well was the fact that he's, you know, supposedly got a really good chin. So he just kept on taking shots and shots and shots and just walking forward. And I mean, I don't know, man. His face was a fucking mess at the end of the fight as well. And at one point, he couldn't really see out of the eye. And he was taking shots that he just didn't see coming anymore at one point. But I don't know, Cam. It's really weird. Like for somebody that hasn't really trained and comes there to cash in, I wouldn't expect him to have the attitude that he did. You know, like he was very reckless about himself as well. Like his hands were down all the time, even though he was getting fucking pasted with shots. Like it was very strange.
I think that's just his nature, though. Like he's always fought that way, but I think a combination of lack of training and the fact that he's pretty up there now. How old is he? I think he's 38.
38.
Yeah, he's old.
He's pretty old now, so.
He's only been boxing 8 years, which is incredible. He's been a world champion. I mean, how many guys have been boxing twice as long as that? Don't even get a shot.
Yeah, but they didn't fight Chagiev, though, did they?
That's true. But, you know, I think Dillian Whyte is the best mind game operator in boxing right now.
I think that's a bit like that's a statement. Chief.
Why?
You think
explain that way.
You think of the guys he's Rubik's cubed, right? He's Rubik's cubed Chisora. He's Rubik's cubed Anthony Joshua. Almost, well, I'd say almost. He rocked Joshua. You know, he's Rubik's cubed Lucas Brown. You could go out. He's probably done it to like low level guys. He just like he outfugs the fugs.
But how do you mean? How did he Rubik's? Because when you go down the Rubik's cube path, like I'm comparing that to, you know, Groves' cerebral approach to the first Carl Froch fight. Like, what did he do that's so brilliant and, you know, mind fucking for these people? Like, he did what? I mean, all I can think of with the Chisora fight is like, who's the donkey now? Like that's my memory of that fight.
That's all you take away from that fight.
Beating the shit out of each other. Like
he does what Donald Trump does. He brands you. Yeah, he brands you. Like forever and a day, Chisora will be the donkey. And I remember that press conference when they were just chatting, and then it got heated very quick because Dillian Whyte was basically like, "Man, let's go to the streets." And Chisora was like, he lifts up the table, throws it at him. He says, "How dare you accuse me of being a pussy?"
Mm-hmm.
He just seems like an unstable dude to me. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't think he's that clever, man, to be honest. I think he says a lot of stupid shit. I think, did he get under AJ's skin?
Of course he did. Femi.
Yeah, but it's I wouldn't just you know, give that to him purely based on his manipulation tactics. I think him and AJ just had a lot of history, and that kind of evolved into a grudge match in itself, right?
And
like they fought before in the amateurs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like there's history there, and AJ was like he said it himself. He's like, I didn't give a fuck. I was gonna go in there and have a fucking tear up with this guy and take him out. Like he I mean, he probably told his coaches that. I mean, he was very upfront about this shit. So is that a mental victory for him? Maybe for AJ, yeah.
I would. Maybe you didn't know, but in the lead up to that Joshua fight, Whyte revealed that AJ is a drug dealer. You know, he kind of grassed him up, and of course he revealed his real name, Femi. And there was other aspects as well. You know, he was basically saying that, you know, Joshua is a fake. He's a phony. He's actually a bully. He's not a nice guy. You know, and we kind of suspected that. But then Dillian Whyte actually revealed it, you know, because he knows Joshua. They go way back. And in terms of Lucas Brown, just to kind of bring it all back, you know, Dillian Whyte kind of got under his skin with that kind of racist talk. And I personally don't believe that Lucas Brown is a racist, even though he kind of tweeted some ill-advised pictures. But that just gave Dillian Whyte the opportunity to kind of run with the Ming games. And Lucas Brown he's not sharp enough for Dillian Whyte mentally. Like, Dillian Whyte's really sharp upstairs. He wears anal beads around his neck and shit, but ignore that. He's actually really sharp upstairs. And I think it's going to take... I think if Dillian Whyte gets to fight Wilder, I think he's going to get under Wilder's skin.
Well, that's good to you as a transition, because I wanted to ask both of you, like, how do you guys feel the way Matchroom and Hearn and Whyte himself are trying to position him to fight Wilder, even though they've even made it sound that, okay, the winner will get Joshua? Like, I don't really want to see Whyte versus Wilder. I know Wilder's fought probably lesser opposition than Whyte, but it's just a fight that seemed that will get in the way of Wilder versus Joshua.
I think, Cam, I know if Leon is listening, he's probably going to spit out his fucking drink, but I think Hearn has been fucking genius in this whole back and forth with everybody, like everybody that's evolving around the Wilder camp. Like, and I don't understand it. Yes, I know Hearn is a fucking cheeky bastard, and he's an arrogant motherfucker and all that. But like, even putting Dillian Whyte aside, like, why isn't Wilder getting on a fucking plane and going to Cardiff? I don't understand. Like, what, you can watch IFL interviews of Hearn all day long, dropping cheesy one-liners and imitating Shelley Finkel's and all that shit. Like, it's I like it, I think it's good banter, but the results speak for itself. Like, at the end of the day, Hearn is a fucking promoter that's doing his job magnificently, but Wilder is like, I don't know, like, this guy's a fucking massive American heavyweight who should be a huge, huge star, and he's not. And again, you have the ability now to light a fire under a mega fight of epic proportions, and you're not doing it?
I think
because somebody said you're not allowed to enter the ring or some shit like that? Like, dude, you're a fucking 6'7", man. Just go into the fucking ring, pull a Mosley, man. Go there and take that shit, man. This is what boxing is about. What the fuck happened, man? I don't understand. These are the two best heavyweights in the world, and you don't want to get on a fucking plane and be there for a unification fight? Like, I don't understand, man. I long for the days where fucking, Lennox and Rahman would fucking punch each other in the face in studio, and this guy won't even fucking go and see AJ? The fuck are you talking about?
I think, like every American boxing reporter, whether it's that Michelle, with the big tits, they're coming over. Whether it's Radio Raheem with Seconds Out, he's coming over. Like, everybody in American boxing knows that American boxing is not what it used to be. Where it's hype now is London, England, the UK in general. So they're all coming over. I think if Wilder was to come over to Joshua, it's almost as if, okay, you're the A-side Joshua. It's almost as if he's kind of lost the mental mind game already. I've never seen Joshua in one of Wilder's fights.
Can't get into the country.
No, a good shout, yeah, maybe. But
but here's the thing, too. Like, that's not in AJ's nature, but I do think it's in Wilder's nature. He's the flashy big talker. He's from the South. He's that fits his image, and that's something that he would do. And he has to fucking face facts, right? It's not his own fucking doing that's going to give him the biggest payday ever, right? It's fighting Joshua in the UK. He could make an absurd amount of money. And like, why don't you just go for it, man? Why don't you stir up some shit? I mean, look at Conor McGregor, for example. What he's done in MMA. You know the shit, man. Like, that is all self-created, right? That's going up to like the champion, getting in their faces, saying the most horrendous shit ever, and building up suspense. Making it big for the media. I mean, he turned a guy who is a silent killer, basically. He doesn't even speak English. He turned a bout with a silent guy into a fucking multi-million-dollar, one of the best pay-per-views of all time. Like, and you have this, you have this ultra mega star in Cardiff fighting, and you're not even going to go to see him. I don't fucking understand it, bro. I really don't. Like, AJ doesn't have to go see anybody. I walk around here in fucking Abu Dhabi, and in every sports store that's selling Under Armour, it's fucking his face plastered everywhere. I kid you not. Like, my uncle knows who AJ is, bro. Like, my Egyptian uncle, he knows who fucking AJ is. He's like, oh yeah. And then, of course, he was, you know, charmed by the fact that he's humble and all of that. He dropped that in there. But I'm just saying. No, I'm serious. He's like, oh yeah, he's so well spoken. He's such a nice guy. I'm like, yeah, but he used to be a drug dealer though. But like, come on, man. I don't fucking get it. I mean, you can talk all the shit you want about Hearn, but if you have this kind of payday waiting for you, I don't know what the fuck is your problem. And I saw what's his name, Shams say in the chat as well, like, Sky is offering you to work for them as well. Like, you're going to go there on air. They're going to pay for your fucking flight. You're going to be sitting next to Adam Smith, you know, and just have a good time. Like,
sitting next to Adam Smith, that's just the bonus as it is, you know, just being with him.
Yeah, man, they can talk about his ramrod jab and penetrating jab, but, I mean, it's just, man, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Oh,
I personally think that Deontay Wilder is delusional. That he thinks he's as big a star as AJ. Every interview that I've heard, he seems to be of the opinion that AJ is docking him, that he's afraid of him, that maybe he thinks that Eddie Hearn is trying to protect Joshua, because that seems to be the narrative on a lot of these kind of boxing podcasts that I listen to, you know, such as the Boxing Voice and whatnot, that Eddie Hearn is protecting Joshua from Wilder, that maybe both are afraid of Wilder. And I think that's bullshit. I think Wilder's extremely flawed. As Nazim says, he's got that equalizer. Brack him up. Brack him up. He's got one. But personally, I think that, you know, previously I was thinking that maybe Wilder probably could knock Joshua out, but no, the more I think about it and the more I've watched Wilder fight, I personally think that Joshua would knock him out. So I'm saying it's a good fight. I'm going back and forth on it, but as it is right now, I don't think Josh is afraid of him. I do think Joshua would knock him out, and I definitely think that Eddie Hearn, as much as he is a money grabbing cunt, he would not do what Bob Arum does. He would not let it marinate. He knows the time to fight is this year, right now. But apparently Povetkin's a mandatory, so he needs to get that out of the way first. And so, in the meantime...
Wait, what? Povetkin is a mandatory? For who?
Joshua.
What the fuck? How is Povetkin a mandatory? Mandatory.
Well, apparently the Povetkin price is an eliminator for... I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right, actually. I did hear that. That is insane. How is... Whatever. Fucking cheating cunt is a mandatory. That's all I need to say.
Just going back to White and Brown, are we done with that conversation?
Yeah.
I just want to quickly touch on one thing, what you said about the steroid thing. You know, when you look at some of the old Lucas Brown fights, and I know they're against nobodies, but he did seem a little bit more jacked up and less lethargic than he looked in the White fight. A bit more ferocious as well. I'm not even talking about like technique or whatever, just the way, you know, that his body language was in the ring. I can't help but share the same sentiment, too. I think also like he just didn't have that ferocity in him. You know? He just looked slow and lethargic and didn't have that same confidence. So,
can you remember when Lucas Brown? You remember when Lucas Brown got popped for steroids and he was like, "I drank some bottled water that they gave me because he got popped in Russia," and you know, he was poisoned basically. And he had Tyson Fury come out and say, "Oh, that's why I didn't drink the water in Russia." In fact, sorry, it was Germany. It was Germany. That's why I didn't drink the water in Germany. And I just think steroid cheats protect steroid cheats. You know, you had Floyd Mayweather coming out today that saying that, you know, Canelo should fight Golovkin on May the 5th. You know, that's just steroid cheat protecting steroid cheat. You know what I mean? They scrub each other's back.
Mm.
Real recognize real.
Mm.
Just going back to the
Well,
undercard then. Surprisingly pretty fun undercard. I don't know if you guys caught it. I think you did, Shu, because we were talking about Lewis Ritson. But did you catch any of the undercard, Kimo?
well, absolutely. I saw obviously my boy Buglioni get fucking starched, which was depressing. Because I like Buglioni, man, just because he's a nice dude and he's always in action-packed fights. But yeah, he got fucking smashed. And I have something to say about that as well. What's the guy's name that beat him, Cam? I forgot. I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Callum Johnson.
Callum Johnson, thank you. So after this fight, right? So Johnson looks fucking incredible. You know, starches Buglioni. And then all of a sudden, and I had to go off on a tangent here, but fucking like Warren and Yard all of a sudden saying like they don't want to fight Callum Johnson. They only had interest in Buglioni. What the fuck is that about, bro?
Is it
Like,
Anthony Yarde? The way Gallagher... I need to get that quote from Gallagher. I don't know if you heard it in the post-fight. He called him Anthony Yarde.
Yeah, it's your day.
day.
That was hilarious. I don't know what it's about. I think they're just trying to... Because it seems Johnson is a big puncher. Like I've only seen him once before this, which was his previous fight. I think it was September 16. And like he didn't really impress me that much. He kind of looked like he was going through the motions. But like Buglioni's a tough dude. Like he went full 12 with Chudinov, and Chudinov beat the shit out of him. I know he got stopped by Sergey Kamitsky, but Kamitsky ices everyone, so there's nothing to be ashamed of there. It just seems to me that all these stories going around that Yard has a really glass chin. I think they're just trying to keep away from Johnson, because it just seemed like Johnson does have power in both hands. Like to do that to Buglioni, like in the first round, just kind of blitz him like that, is pretty impressive.
But you know what pisses me off, right? Like I go to Anthony Yard's box rec now, and I saw the poster as well on Twitter. I've got him scheduled on the 23rd of April against another fucking TBA.
Yeah.
You know, and his last three opponents are Averland, Chleklokla, and Nema Sapati, and one guy called Biryani, as you know, Cam.
Your favorite meal.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I've rambled on about this many times, and I haven't done a show in quite a while, and this shit is still fucking going on. When is this guy gonna fight somebody?
Bro,
I think this is
we'll have a show in 2 years.
disgraceful.
We'll have a show in 2 years, and we'll still be talking about this.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. All this fucking guy does is do some slick shit in the pads and then post it on IFL TV, and we're all supposed to be in awe of how explosive he is. And then he knocks out a fucking cab driver. And then he says, oh we only want to... Well, it was Warren who said that. We only want to fight Buglioni. We only had interest in Buglioni. What are you talking about? You're a fucking pussy, dude. Fuck him, honestly.
I tell you, Chris Eubank Jr., fool me once. Shame on me. Fool me twice. Shame on you. Other way about.
Oh, well. Got halfway there.
But Buglioni done a dance in his fight against Callum Johnson, and I've got to give Buglioni credit. He done his best to stay on his feet, but when he got stopped, he circled the ref. Like, it's okay, man. He pushed the ref off, and then he started doing this kind of like dance around the ref, and then he nearly fell. And then his trainer had to come in and kind of stop him dancing.
I actually never noticed that. Was he trying to show him that he was still okay?
Yeah, he was trying to show him that he was still okay. But that Callum Johnson, he must have heavy hands, because it doesn't look like he punches hard. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's very natural, yeah.
He's got that kind of thudding power. It doesn't look like he's getting much kind of speed on his punches, but he must have heavy hands, man, because Buglioni was fucked up. And, I'll be honest with you, who's Buglioni beat? No one. So I've always thought he's overrated. That said, he is a tough guy. And that Callum Johnson, who, I'll be honest with you, that's the first time I've seen him fight. He's a beast. I've seen Anthony Yard fight. Anthony Yard, who turned down Peterbiev recently. It's going to be protected until Frank Warren thinks, oh, there's an opening. There's a belt I can win. there's a fight I could win. But there's a problem because 175 is like the hottest division in boxing.
Exactly. It's like he'll have to wait around for like 5-6 years to get some type of opportunity against the easy guy, unless like someone that, I know Kovale's got WBO, but we know how Warren's got that organization in his pocket. If that came vacant somehow, then yeah, I'm sure Warren would get an opportunity for a yard. But until that time, I just constantly see cab drivers upon cab drivers, because you always see it in the post fights. And they'll interview Tunde, his trainer, and they're like, yeah, he didn't have much amateur. We're in the embryonic stage. We're going to take it easy. When they keep saying that and keep reiterating it fucking every fight, then they have no interest on stepping him up anytime soon.
Yeah, and you're going to keep getting these fucking Warren shows, where you have just the guy's picture there. You have Yard solo by himself, and then there's another guy on the right, probably Dubois, solo by himself, and then there's a headliner of some bullshit fight. And they're gonna keep recycling this fucking structure like forever. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I think probably Dubois has probably faced the better opposition at this point, right? I mean, at least he faced somebody who was on like British level or something like that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm getting real sick of this fucking Anthony Yard bullshit. And yeah, I know it's not part of this undercard, but I just have to get it off my chest, man. It's just quickly, it's shameless almost.
Yeah, just quickly with Johnson. So obviously he's with Joe Gallagher. Hosea Burton's also with Joe Gallagher, and he's mandatory now for the British. And he mentioned it. Johnson mentioned it in his post-fight that we'll see what options are available, but he might vacate and let Buglioni and Burton have a rematch for the vacant title or something. So hopefully, Eddie will get him some type of decent position. But again, like light heavyweight, it's so difficult. Maybe some type of European title shot or something. But yeah, anything else regarding that fight?
No. Nah, I think we should talk about Chu and his devastating loss, man.
Chu's doppelganger, Scotty Cardle. What happened to you, man? Like, the first round you looked amazing, man, but I don't know, he started getting to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just didn't have the power to keep him off me. I started fast. But you guys know my gas tank. I'm a 3-minute fighter. And yeah, Lewis Ritson, it kind of looks like Lucas Matisse.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight like him though. Well, a wee bit. Nah, in all seriousness, Scott Cardle. I'm of the opinion that Scott Cardle is like a guy who kind of goes up. If he's facing like a high level opponent, he'll raise his game. But I don't know, there's something just quite snidey about him. He's not popular. He's not a popular guy. You look at the YouTube comments on Scott Cardle when he fights and stuff. There's something just really snidey about him. So am I devastated that my lookalike got knocked out in 2 rounds? No, not really. I like this Lewis Ritson. What do you guys think?
I have a feeling that that he's been reading those YouTube comments a lot, and then he just decided to just sell out in this fight. It's very strange because normally everybody gets on Scotty Cardle for having really, really boring fights, right? And just dancing around with not much real offense going and just a bunch of
head movement.
Yeah, just a bunch of shadow head movement, and just nothing happening. And this fight was really weird. Like, he just came out of the gate and just started fucking standing in front of this guy and just trading. So I don't know. I to be honest, I think he's fucking done. Like, this is he cannot do this. He's not designed to be that kind of a fighter. And yeah, I don't know what the game plan was. I actually don't remember any corner advice being shown between the first and the second round, Cam. I don't know if you remember anything, but I'm kind of wondering what the trainer's advice was as well. Like, Gallagher, I mean, he must have been fucking upset with him, because even though he was landing on during the first round, like, that's not the type of fight that you are good at, right? You can only do that for so long unless you knock the guy out. But the guy's absolutely feather-fisted, and he didn't even put a dent in him, and then it just went downhill real quick from there.
Yeah, I think your initial point with Chu is right. I think he just hated this opinion of himself where people are just seeing him as this boring fighter, and whether Gallagher had a game plan for him or not. I just think he wouldn't have listened to it. He just did what he wanted to do, and it was I kind of give him props for at least giving it a shot. I think he would lose to Ritson either way, even if he went back to his old boring style. I think Ritson would eventually get to him, but I kind of give him props for actually, trying to, go all out and go all guns blazing. The first round was fun. He did buzz Ritson, and he was throwing a lot of shots, but yeah, I think the game plan was out the window. I think he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. I didn't hear any kind of advice between rounds, but it just seemed bits from you were hearing getting shouted into the ring from Gallagher. I don't think Gallagher supported the way Cardo came out. I don't think that was in their plan.
Yeah, he did the opposite of a Gallagher game plan, right? Normally, you're supposed to do nothing for 6 rounds and then get some offense going.
Exactly.
And he just said, "Fuck this, we're doing the opposite today."
It was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah. What did you think of the stoppage? Actually,
I think it was good. Ritson it's weird, man. Like I think Cardo didn't get because it was only 2 rounds. He didn't really get a gauge of his range, and if you noticed it, it seemed Cardo thought he was out of the pocket or out of range, and then Ritson's got a really long, good sharp jab. The jab was landing multiple times, and then the straight right was landing as well. And Ritson, I don't know if he did it purposefully, but he did something I always want people to do. They don't, if a guy's got a decent head movement, don't fire where he is, fire in which direction he's going to move. And he was doing that on Cardo. Cardo was trying to be slick and move his head and stuff, and he was just getting caught wherever his head would be for more than a few seconds. He was getting caught there, and yeah, really like Ritson. I was saying to Chu, Chu said it to me the day after. I think that Ritson is probably like European level. He's a bit basic, so it'd be difficult for him to go on to maybe a world stage unless Hearn got him some easy vacant title or a weak maybe belt holder. But he kind of, I don't want to jinx him, but he kind of has that kind of Eggington about him. A better Eggington. That the high guard does protect a lot of his face, but he does get hit with silly shots sometimes. But I think he's a lot better at Eggington, and I'm interested in kind of following his journey and see where he goes.
Where did this guy come from? Like I know he comes from Newcastle, but where did he come from though? Like he came from nowhere. Like he's just on the scene, knocking everyone out. Because I watched the Scott Cardo fight, then I watched another Ritson fight. I think he was fighting Murray previously to that.
Blitzed him in one.
The guy he was fighting a fight before that blitzed him. This guy's a beast. A European beast. At the end of the day, if you're getting buzzed off Scott Cardo, then, you've probably got a glass ceiling, maybe Euro level. Because Cardo can't punch.
Did he really get buzzed, though? Did he really get
buzzed? In the first round, I thought he was buzzed, Kimo. Yeah.
But I mean, this is professional boxing. The thing with Scott Cardo is, like you said, Cam, he does like a lot of head movement, but he forgets to. He does it either like when he doesn't have to, when he's completely out of range.
Yeah.
Then he's like, "Why are you doing that?" It's like
he's just too slick, bro.
It's like he's trying to charm him, but then when he steps in a range, he doesn't move his head.
Yeah, it's like does the complete opposite of what you should be doing.
It's like somebody needs to tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, listen, man, when you're out of range, relax. You don't need to move. But when you're in range, move your head. You fucking be slick." But he's like, he's like a guy who drives a Ferrari on an empty road. You know what I mean? And no one can see it. It's easy to drive a Ferrari fast when there's no other cars there. Well, the real fucking test is when you're on the motorway or the highway and you're driving in and out of traffic. Scott Cardo is a Scottish based or Scottish heritage fighter. I don't want to slag him, but I will. I think he should maybe reevaluate where he's gone, because the vitriol this guy gets online is unreal. What has he done? What has he done to deserve such criticism?
I'll tell you what he's done. He's often on these undercards where you just want to see the main event, and then there's like a 12-round Scotty Cardo fight that you have to sit through, and it just pisses everybody off.
It just sucks the energy out of the whole card.
That's just a black hole like that you don't want to go through. in order to get to the main event. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. He seems nice in interviews, but people just don't want to see him fight. He's just not excited. The what?
The Scotty card hole. The card. Oh, stop it. Too many layers. Too many levels.
It's too easy for you to. Come on. All right. Anything else regarding that card?
Yeah, Cam. Real quick. I forgot to mention this about the Callum Johnson-Buglioni fight. My favorite moment of the whole night was just Gallagher's reaction to the knockout. Like, that was some fucking epic shit. And I love everybody's response to it as well. But, I mean, Gallagher looked like he could fly all of a sudden, man. He was fucking jumping around. His shirt was rolling up, showing his fucking fat belly. Like, it was amazing. I loved it.
From what I read,
he was so happy.
I think they are quite close. I think they're quite close, so I think he was extra pleased for him.
Oh yeah, but you want to talk about Chisora knocking out a fucking Turkish kebab owner?
I don't even see the point of talking about it. But if you guys want to go ahead,
don't you dare skip this fight.
All right, Chu, give us your thoughts on this high-level heavyweight clash.
Yeah, so for the listeners, I made a video, entered the world of YouTube videos, and basically my first YouTube video, I'm trying to go for the Hatman kind of approach. He's kicking off. My first YouTube video was on Derek Chisora and Zakaria Azizi. And basically it was this guy. I know he was a late opponent. He was so late, he almost missed the weigh-in. So you can check this on YouTube. Seconds out, IFL, Derek Chisora, Zakaria Azuzi weigh-in. Almost misses a weigh-in. They're so out of shape, so unfit, so overweight, that when he gets off the scales, Derek Chisora almost bursts out laughing in front of him. Comes off the stage, Derek Chisora's bursting out laughing. So's Eddie Hearn, so's Kell Brook, so's Adam Smith. All the security staff just laughing at Zakaria. Then when you get to the fight, I've got to be honest with you, I thought Zakaria done well.
For a kebab shop owner.
Maybe 4 minutes longer than what I thought he would. I think
he's definitely boxed in gyms, like you can tell, right? He at least had a little bit of instinct, you know what I mean? Yeah. But maybe that was a long time ago, I don't know. He looked fucking fat as fuck.
Well, he has got a kebab shop. Maybe he just hung a big piece of meat up in the back and did Rocky-style bag work on it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but Chisora, it took him actually, I would say, a little bit to take him out. Like, he tried to land quite a few punches on him, and a little bit of defense.
I think Chisora was just fucking about until he thought, okay, it's time to get this dude out here. But what did you guys think of the post-fight antics? Did you guys see it about Joey Joyce and David Haye and all that stuff?
In terms of what? I didn't quite see it, I think.
So Kimo, in the post-fight, basically, Hayes in the crowd, Joyce comes over. They've been pursuing Chisora as an opponent for the Bellew Hay 2 undercard. He, according to them, agreed to fight Joyce for a decent amount of money, but then he said, nah, we'll make a deal. Basically, if Joyce beats Chisora, he'll fight for £1. So if he gets beat by him, his purse will be £1. But if Chisora beats Joyce, then Hayes' purse for the Bellew rematch will go to Chisora. And Hay was like, fuck that.
Dude.
He lost me.
The way it sounds, it's a bit sad, but yeah, don't try to take money off David Haye, man. He's a fucking slimy, fucking money-grabbing cunt.
I think, have you heard Joe Joyce's rap record, dissing Derek Chisora?
I have not. Is it fire?
It's amazing. It's actually one of the hottest records on the streets.
Is it on par with Danny Garcia's latest mixtape?
It's much better than that. It's much better. Yeah, Joe Joyce is robotic stuff. I think Derek Chisora would. He's a live body in that fight, even though I think probably Joe Joyce is probably a wee bit too big. But Derek Chisora's so underrated as a person, as a boxer, as a personality. I'm a massive fan of Derek Chisora, I always have been. And I personally, I'm not surprised that David Tate turned that offer down, because Joe Joyce is unproven. He's not ready for the gatekeeper, Derek Chisora.
True, I kind of agree. I've always been a fan of Del Boy as well, but I think he's kind of shot now. He's just looking for the big paydays. If there's no needle in the fight, if it's not a white opponent, if it's not Tyson Fury, where maybe they can have some back and forth, he just looks disinterested in fights. Like, he doesn't really turn up. He just goes through the motions, and maybe Joyce will bring that out of him, but I don't think that fight will happen, because with him demanding so much, I think he knows he doesn't want to get used as a stepping stone, so he's not going to give Joyce and Hayde the opportunity.
Yeah, but Cam, look at who he's fighting and on what time, and there was nobody in the fucking crowd, and he's fighting that monstrosity. Like, I mean, I wouldn't feel very good about myself, you know. You're talking about a guy, like, we make fun of Derek Chisora sometimes, but we're talking about a guy that was once, on the big stage, heralded as one of the, only few remaining good heavyweights, man. I mean, he was the guy who got in both of the Klitschko's faces and put up some stellar performances, So, he was massive at one point, and now it's like it's just a shell of his former self, man. I mean, it's quite pathetic that he's on this type of undercard fighting that type of person. I mean, it can't do much good for your own ego as well.
Yeah, Chisora, look at his record. Only the very best have beat him. Tyson Fury, the Klitschko brothers. Come
on, that guy in Monte Carlo wasn't the very best, and he kind of beat him quite easily. But
who was that?
I can't remember the name. I think it was the German dude. It was the last fight in Monte Carlo. Let me try and find it.
I'll box wreck him right now. But anyway, the point being is that Chisora is actually, for a small heavyweight with not much power, not a really good boxer. He's actually all right. He's actually got a pretty good record. He finds a way to be competitive in there. He gave Dillian White a better fight than Brown did. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he was ferocious in that fight, man. He fought a really good fight against White. Like, he just came out of his shotness, so to speak. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, he was a live dog again.
But that's to my point about if there's needle involved, you see a better Derek.
I don't think he trains for these type of guys, Cam. I don't think he goes all out. I think he does like a 40% camp and just rolls by. Like, if you look at his cardio, for example, in the White fight, it was pretty good for his standards. He was just kept on throwing for 12 fucking rounds. Like, yeah, okay, sometimes they were, tired a little bit, but come on, man, they're heavyweights. What do you expect? Like, the pace of that fight was pretty goddamn high. And I've seen fights with Chisora where he's leaning on some taxi driver after 3 rounds and it becomes a sloppy mess. Like, I think he has big variation in the way he prepares for fights. And like you said, it depends on the opponent and the occasion.
Yep. All right, are we done with this card from the O2?
Yeah, it was classy, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Chu, just for you. So obviously this card was on March 24th, a few days earlier, March 22nd. The second coming, Ryan Garcia for Fernando Vargas. Chu, did you see this impressive knockout?
Vargas.
Not the real Fernando Vargas, but yeah.
What do you think?
What a left hook.
It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
The only issue, though, I have seen
Jim Lampley now.
I have seen Fernando Vargas before. He fought Jamie McDonnell about 2 years ago at bantamweight, and just the size difference, man. I know it's like Ryan Garcia's coming up and they're going to protect him and stuff, but the guy was fucking tiny, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's to be expected at this stage in his career. Unfortunately, that's the way boxing works. He's just a baby. Look at him, man. He's just a boy. But that boy's got fast hands. Woo. Jesus. I love knockouts like that. I know it's a bum. I know it's a smaller guy. But, when that left hook lands, it's like a unique knockout. It's like the guy went forward and then he went back. It's like, wow. You know, if you've been listening to these podcasts, you know I'm high on Ryan Garcia. Apparently he's not got a chin, according to Daniel Lim. But
ouch.
In the meantime, I'm gonna jump on this train. You know, you guys are on the Bevo train. You have that. That's fine. You have the Bevo train. I'm on the Ryan Garcia train, and we've got at least 10 years in the game.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mikey Garcia. Not Ryan Garcia.
Classy.
No, Ryan King Rye.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Look, his numbers on YouTube. Millions.
Chu, are you one of those Instagram thoughts that says, "Oh, Daddy Rye, I love you. I'm your number one bae from Scotland."
Well, I'm not
even on Instagram, man. I'm on YouTube. I'm typing that, though.
Dude, he does attract the women, though. You could see that, right? He's got that young De La Hoya in him.
That's fine, man. I'll open doors for him. Like, if I'm there, I'm getting autographs.
Mm.
You know, the hands are that fast, I can't even see the pen.
Mm. That's why it come out really poorly, True. You don't want to autograph from somebody like that. But I have a question for you. Who was the guy that he fought, though? Was he any good?
No.
Yeah. And this is what, his 13th or 14th fight?
Lim, what makes you say that he's got glass? Have you seen him in the gym sparring?
I never said that. I never said he had a glass chin. I said that's one thing that I'd be really dubious of. Like, he reminds me a lot of Linares. Trust me, like when Linares was coming up, he was just insane. He was like one of those prospects. Everyone thought he was the next Pacquiao. At least when he was coming up with Freddie. You know, Freddie was touting him as the next Pacquiao.
Dan.
And then it's not necessarily me saying definitively that he's not going to end up being good. It's just that I'm really doubtful because I've had interactions with fighters like Ryan Garcia who has one really unique skill set. But when you watch him fight, like, he's not technically sound, Chu. When he throws his right hand, he overextends himself way too much. And it's not even fair for me to criticize him right now. He's 19 years old, for fuck's sake. But I'm just saying, like, let's hold the horses and let him progress.
Dan, 2 podcasts ago, you said that he had a bad chin. They used to train in Goosen 10 or whatever that gym is.
I've seen him get hurt.
Yeah.
I've seen him get hurt.
You have? Okay.
So, yeah, I have. But at the same time, I'm still going to give him a benefit of the doubt, like with Joshua and Wilder. Wilder's a perfect example, right? When Wilder was coming up, he got dropped a couple of times. I think once in the Olympics and once in sparring, and I was quick to shit on him. I was like, oh, he doesn't have a chin. He doesn't have the endurance that will allow him to have a good punch resistance. But he proved me wrong against Ortiz. Yeah. So I'm eating my own words, and I'm saying he could have a better chin than Wilder, and plus he's 19 years old too. So he's still growing into his body. So obviously he can improve upon that. But I'm just saying, let's hold the brakes on this guy. I mean, he doesn't even have an amateur career. So I'm okay with him fighting bums in his 13th or 14th fight. Mm-hmm. He should be given that right.
The problem is, though, like, he's already getting the push, right? So
Exactly.
When you're starting to push the guy now, when he's 19 years old, where is he going to be when he's 23, right? That's the same problem I have with, like, guys like Daniel Dubois, you know, like, they're getting pushed so early on fucking TV. Like, you're splattering this fucking guy's, you know, baby face all over ESPN. Like, what's going to happen, man? I don't know. It's always a recipe for disaster unless you are somebody like a De La Hoya who had this really, really extensive amateur background, you know, and was a fucking, you know, a well-groomed fighter by the time he entered the big time.
Yeah, I thought you were going to use a different word than I thought you were going to say splattering, you know, with a 3-letter word afterwards. So I'm glad you avoided that.
In terms of technique, everything is geared towards speed, punching. Like, I agree with you. He doesn't bring the hand back or whatever. He's not technically very good.
He's upright.
That's for me the biggest issue with him. He's very upright and leaky defense. I can see a guy, you know, punching with him at one point and just fucking.
But we're feeding right into the problem that we're talking about. We're 50 minutes into this podcast on a show that we do once every month, and why are we talking about Ryan Garcia?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this kid?
But here, Shams 1000 says it. His legs, Ryan Garcia's, reminds me of Felix Verdejo. Just his stance. No,
Yeah,
sorry,
but
not
Deontay.
no,
Like,
sorry,
I'm not trying to shit
Trinidad.
on this guy, man.
Trinidad. That's what I meant. It reminds me of Trinidad. Listen, he's the truth. You can
That's
come
fine,
talk
man.
to me.
Oh, wait, hold on. He's the truth,
Talk to me
like Chris Eubank Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
All right, let me jump in. Let's move on. March 17th, we had Jose Ramirez versus Amir Imam for the vacant WBC 140 title. Did you see that, Lim?
No.
All right, Kimo?
Before I get into that, Cam, can I just give a quick shout out to Danny Yankee's wife? Because apparently she likes my voice. That's what he said in the chat. Yeah, I did see it, man. It was a fantastic fight. It was fucking really, really entertaining. And I told you, man. God, man, Imam. It's sad. He always had potential, but it's this fucking, thinking you're slick on the back foot with your shoulder roll thing that just is not working for him. And he always seems to, whenever he fights a pressure fighter, he seems to, kind of just slow down in the middle rounds, and then it becomes a fucking tear up. I'm not complaining, man. It was a great fight. Ramirez has got a great story. He is a bit basic. I don't think he's going to be anything special, obviously. But in the fights that we're going to witness him in, man, it's going to be entertainment. He's got little crafty tricks in there, here and there, especially against a guy who's not as slick as he thinks he is, like Imam. So I don't think he's a straightforward brawler. I think he's got a little bit of skill in there as well, the way he sets up his punches. But very, very entertaining fight. Did you enjoy it, Cam?
I did, to an extent. Imam, it disappoints me because he kind of shows glimpses of real talent. Like when he's on his jab and he uses it often, it's excellent, man. But when he just resorts to, like you said, using the shoulder, just 2-punch counters, kind of gets pressed up against the ropes, doesn't really do much. And I agree. I don't think Jose Ramirez is that impressive. His aggression is good. His combinations are good, but he is quite wide open. And his left hook just leaves him too easy to hit against a higher level opponent. I think he'll get caught out. But yeah, man, Bob's not really got many people, so he's going to push anyone these days. But decent fight. You catch it, Chu?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
That's good to hear. You catch it, Chu?
What's that?
Did you catch this fight?
Yeah, I saw it, yeah. I thought Imam, since the Granados fight, Granados took his soul. And whatever happened to Granados, that just kind of shows what kind of level Amir Imam's at.
Yeah.
Ramirez is a good fighter, but I don't know, I see the basic in him. He's quite, he throws a lot of punches, puts a lot of pressure on him. He was pushing Imam back to the ropes. And, Imam reminds me of Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell tried to do the shoulder roll thing and he would get clipped left and right.
Andre Berto against Guerrero.
Or Andre Berto, yeah. Just a really mediocre shoulder roll that really has no place at that level if you can't do it right, because it just looks embarrassing. And I thought Imam kind of embarrassed himself. Because I actually think if he wanted to, if he just fought in a kind of traditional way, he's got the hand speed and he's kind of got the technical ability to cause this Ramirez problems. But at the end of the day, I just didn't think that Ramirez was going to get beat that night. He just wanted it too much. But, to kind of segue off that, I think Regis Prograis, who Nyota likes to talk about, I think he beats them all. I think he even beats Josh Taylor.
Ooh! Calm down.
What?
Whoa.
That's a big shout. That's a big shout going against your countryman.
I think he beats MvChu.
So I think 140 right now reminds me of 2005 when you had all the beasts lined up. You had Hatton, Gatti, Floyd, Zhu. You had all these beasts lined up, and now 140 you've got Mikey Garcia, you've got Josh Taylor, you've got Prograis, you've got Ramirez, you've got others that are just coming through right now. I think it's really set nicely to be a really good melting pot of fights. You know, I was speaking out my arse last time saying that Josh Taylor might be a world champion. To be honest with you, after watching Regis Prograis, who I've kind of watched a wee bit, but then I just watched his fight against Ndongo, so impressed by him that I watched his whole back catalogue, and now I'm on that train as well. I personally don't think that Ramirez could beat Prograis. To be honest with you, doubtful that Taylor could beat Prograis, although I think Taylor could probably beat Ramirez if he has a really good night.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, because I think after the fight, Bob Arum was like, "Oh, maybe we'll try and get a card where his name escapes me, the champ that just won the WBC title, Ramirez, where Ramirez can fight an opponent and then they can get Prograis on the undercard against another opponent." But Prograis kind of responded to that on Twitter and said, he doesn't really want to do that. He wants to go straight for the title shot. I think Bob knows that, Ramirez is a weak champion. But yeah, with Prograis, I kind of like him too. That fight against Ndongo was weird though, man. It's like any kind of half decent shot that was landing on Ndongo was just kind of, he just seemed a bit weird. Like, I don't know if something happened in the camp, but he just seemed a bit like stunned every time something happened to him. Like, a lot of shots that I didn't personally think were clean, and like he was getting dropped and just kind of flowing around the ring. But it was a weird performance from Ndongo.
It's the power. It's the power of Prograis. He's just got too much power.
I actually saw that fight. Did you watch that fight, Chu? The Ndongo Prograis fight. Yeah, I just felt like it was just shitty preparation. And Ndongo, I think, had one in-between fight since that one and then the Crawford fight. He had some fight in Ghana or somewhere in Africa. I just, I don't think, I'm just trying to say, I don't think Ndongo, I think Ndongo is done. Like, you talk about a guy who got his soul snatched. I mean, that fight, Prograis' jab was having a clear impact on Ndongo.
He was pushing him back, man. Like, he was falling backwards from a jab. It's fucking crazy.
I don't really take away too much from that. I think Prograis is definitely at a higher level to me than even I think to me even more than Taylor, just because of that explosiveness. Like, I know Taylor is so well rounded, but I feel like Prograis has that equalizer and just in that single punch power. So I want to see Prograis versus Mikey, to tell you the truth. That's a fight that I really, really want to watch.
Sorry, Lim, I don't think Ndongo did fight in between, but it is true, because obviously Prograis was supposed to fight Victor Postal, and he pulled out. And to Sham's point in the Mixler chat, it was a kind of short notice, so maybe the prep wasn't right. And obviously I think he's changed trainers now since Bud iced him. I think he's actually with Crawford's trainers, so yeah, maybe it's just a hard fight with lack of preparation with the new training team. I think a combination of things could lead to that shitty performance.
Or the fact that he's just shit, Cam, because at the end of the day,
that is also really a good point, Kimo.
Yeah, I mean, he had one of the most fucking padded records ever, right? And he was a world title holder. Like, who the fuck did he ever?
Well, he was unified, yeah. Like, he iced Troy Ivanovsky, which was a good icing.
Basically, who the fuck is that guy?
Schooled Ricky Burns in his hometown, and then obviously got iced by Crawford.
Come on. Those are not fucking.
All right.
I think you guys are far too negative. You're more Ndongo shit rather than Prograis good. Don't get me wrong. I think Ndongo is like one of the worst unified belt holders there's ever been in boxing, but he's still a world level guy. And Prograis just walked through him like a knife through butter. Not that nice walk through butter, but you know what I mean.
If they did.
I'm really disappointed that you're thinking that this guy just flat out beats Josh Taylor, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying he runs through him. I'm saying that Josh Taylor would have his fucking hands full at least. And
I think Taylor would schools him on the inside.
Yeah, but let's wait a year or two with Taylor.
Just while we're staying on 140, I do want to transition to the Mikey fight. So, Lim, what did you think of Mikey versus Lipnitz?
I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was one of the better fights of the year. I think Lipinets proved himself to be a pretty good fighter. I certainly think he's better than Ramirez at this point. And Mikey is just, I have a lot of, I feel like I have conflicting views on Mikey that lead some of the things I say about him to be somewhat hypocritical. First of all, let me say that he's a very, very good fighter, probably top 10 pound for pound. Would you guys agree? Maybe
Mikey?
Creeping in the top 5?
Mikey is definitely top 10 pound for pound.
Well, who's he beat?
Okay. We'll get on that discussion later because I think he's quite a few good fighters. But just regarding the fight itself, Mikey is a specialist. He does 4 things extremely well in terms of his punch output. He has a beautiful jab. He has a beautiful right hand. He has a beautiful left hook to the body when he decides to use it. And what other punch does he throw? A left hook, obviously, the left hook that dropped Libanets. But he's a very basic fighter, but in the best way possible. He is a guy to me that is going to shine against competition that is at his level or below his level because he's so methodical in everything that he does. And I think Libanets proved to be a pretty tricky fighter. I honestly thought Buddy McGirt did a pretty good job with him, just in terms of his head movement, his feints, his jabs, the way he doubled up on it. It gave Mikey a lot of good looks. I think if Lipanets trained with Ronda Rousey's trainer, he would have gotten the W for sure. But that's a different discussion. But Mikey, I think Mikey beats everyone at 140. I think he can clean out that division. I think he can obviously clean out 135, with the exception of Lomachenko. But I'm just ranking Mikey at a different pedestal right now. Like, I want to see Mikey versus Prograis. I want to see him versus Lomachenko, and I want to see him against Crawford. Like, that's how good Mikey is to me. He's already proven pretty much everything that I need to know about him. I just want to see him against, the elite of that competition. But I thought he did great, and I thought Lipanets did really well, man. And I know it's not really fair for me to say because I ranked Lipanets retroactively just in terms of that fight in and of itself, and I thought he did pretty decently. So I don't know. I think Mikey's just kind of in a weird position right now. I think he's supposed to fight his mandatory 135 against some guy I've never heard of. So I'm curious to see what he does with his career.
Yeah. How did you think he looked at the weight, Lim? Because I get the feeling that he is a little bit too high. Like, I don't know, the guy Lipanets just. I don't know if Lipanets is just that good, or he just was a bit awkward, or he's just not at the right weight. I don't know. I feel like Mikey's going up a little bit too far. He looked physically okay, but he doesn't look shredded, like he looks a little bit pudgy as well around the waist. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is not the right weight for him.
I've always loved that word, pudgy.
Optimal weight class. It's not his optimal weight class. And you're right, Kim. He's never been kind of a ripped guy. He's never been, shredded. He's never even been kind of like somebody you walk on the street and say, oh, that guy seems to be an athlete. Like, he's just not that type. But you're right, though. I felt like he should have gotten rid of Lipanets, had his power moved up accordingly. And I just don't think it is. I think 135 is his best weight class.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyone else regarding the Mikey fight?
Yeah, I'm glad that Mikey passed his lipness test.
The undercard had another 140 title belt. It was a rematch between Barthélemy and Relic. I don't really want to get into the fight too much. I just see, even though I think Relic's a tough fight for anyone, I think most non-title holders would be probably targeting Relic now as maybe like the easiest path to maybe a title. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, they would definitely Relic the moment.
You guys are on it today.
Yeah, I agree. I watched that fight. I don't know what happened to Barthélemy, man. I used to be pretty high on Barthélemy, but
fucking sucks, and he's always sucked. Come on.
He looked fucking terrible. You know what it was, Kimo? He was trying to get that Charlo haircut. You dig?
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, that was an epic fill, and I didn't see the fight, so...
Oh, yeah? No fight?
Yeah.
Hey, but the Charlos were in the building, so I definitely got my 2 cents in.
Oh, like only.
How Chu views Ryan Garcia is how I view the Charlo brothers.
We need to talk about the Adrian Broner confrontation later on, because that shit is important.
Exactly. We got to get our Instagram clout up. You know what I'm saying? Our clout.
What?
Clout with a T.
Dan, do you not think that the Charlo brothers' street cred has been drastically hurt by the fact that they got 100,000 stolen from them by women?
Wow, what are you supposed to say, bro? by a woman.
By a
It could have
woman.
been-
I thought
yeah.
this was lions only.
Yeah, but women have grown drastically over the years, Stu. How could you just say something like that?
There's still a lioness in the background always, man. They can't just.
Exactly.
They need that
Yeah.
love sometimes, you know.
Let's
They get
talk
taken
about
advantage of.
let's talk about this card. We'll bullshit about that later. But what else do you got to talk about this card, Shu? Oh, I mean, Cam in San Antonio.
Yeah,
I want
Nike-
to talk about my fight with the Greco, you know. That's what I wanna talk
Oh,
about.
That's a good fight.
Man. I can't wait to come back, you know.
Yeah, the Mikey
Target.
card. The Mikey card only really had the Mikey card only really had the headline and then the Relic Bartholomew fight. But just quickly, I wanted to go back to the Imam versus Ramirez fight regarding undercard. Conlon again, kind of Irish weekend. Another small opponent, but there was a major upset, man.
Felix Fajardo.
He took it L, man. We saw it coming and it happened.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Man.
I feel
End
bad
of
for
an
the guy.
era. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
Wow.
I used to Verdargio when he was going up, but to see him go out like that. You know what I hate though, guys, is when a guy actually shows you heart while he's getting his ass whooped, especially like a high level or like a highly touted prospect as he's coming up in the ranks. Like I can't shit on that. So even though I don't like Verdeo and I feel kind of bad about what happened, like he at least showed me heart in the way that he went out. So props to that.
Yeah. Like, do you think there's any path back for him, Lim, or do you think he was just not at that level?
You know what? I have no idea, man. You know, I feel like he has the goods. If you watch him fight in the amateurs and the Olympics, like the kid is skilled. Like he's really talented, but I just don't think his game really transitions. And also the mental side. I feel like the mental side between the pros and the Olympics are so drastic in terms of how you fight and how you fight, especially at a certain level.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's ever been made for that.
Lim, you know what?
He's got Malinazi hands. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Lim, you know, years ago, you used to always maybe question the trainer and say he needs a new trainer. Do you think that would make a difference with Felix?
No, I think it's too late.
I think it's the lifestyle, Cam. You know, I think the whole motorcycle accident, the inactivity. You know, I just don't think he's lived a life, and I think he's just boxing. You can't fuck around in boxing. You know, either you're in or you're out. And I think he's just been dancing around that middle line for way too long, and it just came back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah,
Still
and
think
I don't
he's
blame
talented.
him. You know, if I was him, I made all that money, I'd be hanging out in Puerto Rico listening to Bad Bunny, get my freak on with some bad Puerto Rican girls. Like, I do the same shit.
Dude, how much money has he really made? Come on, he hasn't made that much money.
I'm sure he made a pretty decent amount, especially with Top Rank, the way they give out their contracts. Trust me, I know the business side of boxing, bro. hashtag below the belt. Brandon Job, Showtime.
What is it about boxers and motorcycles?
Living on the edge, bro.
Yeah, I mean, who was that guy who was the beast a few years ago? Venezuelan. Oh, lightweight. What was his name? He died. He killed his wife and suicided. What was his name? Oh,
I don't
fuck.
know.
Chat-
Talking about Corrales.
No.
No, Corrales, he done that as well, but the guy who was meant
Oh, that's terrible, man.
the guy who was meant to fight Pacquiao. Oh, fuck. What was his name?
He fought DeMarco.
DeMarco, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about the ferocious puncher, man. What was his name?
Chat room, help me out.
Oh man. Naoto would know this instantly, man. The guy with the tats and the fucking. God damn it, man.
Oh, fuck it. I'll just leave it. Man.
Yeah, I'll think of it a little bit, but
Edwin
Paul
Valero.
Williams.
Edwin Valero. Edwin Valero.
that was a motorcycle accident as well, right?
Yeah. Valerio, there you go.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Valerio. Thank you.
Edwin Valero. Yeah. But I mean, like, if I'm a boxer, I'm staying the fuck away from a motorcycle.
Exactly.
Anybody should, man. Those are death machines, dude.
It's
Unless you
not
have
even,
a Harley.
it's
that's
not
fine,
even
but
that.
it's
Like,
not
I
that.
think your promoter should make you sign a contract because, like, you know, you fucking if you've signed up for fights where they're forking out money for venues and all that shit, then you shouldn't be able to do that, man. It's one of the most fucking dangerous transports around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just statistically, the amount of boxers who have hurt themselves or killed themselves on a motorcycle is actually I'm making a joke out of it. It must be maybe concussion or, apparently when you get concussed, your brain gets a little bit more reckless. I wonder if it just kind of feeds into that. But, if I'm a promoter, I'm fucking putting that in the contract. No motorcycles.
Yep.
Full stop.
All right. Anyone else regarding that card with Felix Verdejo and Gvozdyk was on it, but I didn't think he looked that good. I think they were chasing high-level opposition and people kept pulling out, and he fought this Amar dude who wasn't too bad, to be honest, but it just seemed Gvozdyk just seemed a bit disinterested, but I don't know.
He looked
I agree.
disappointed because I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Same night as the Mikey Garcia fight, we had ESPN showing Scott Quagg against Oscar Valdez.
Ooh.
Lim,
Ooh.
you sent me a WhatsApp video of horrendous rain in LA. It felt like it was Manchester for a day.
Yeah. I think the highlight or the winner of this entire card was my brother Steve Kim asking Eddie Hearn the tough questions.
That was very good.
This is calm. But anyways, do you want me to talk about the fight, Cam, or about Eddie Hearn's immaculate three-piece suit?
I want to talk about Eddie Hearn's turtlenecks these days, but we can start off with the fight.
Scott Quagg, what can you say about the guy, man? His best mate is his mom. I mean, kind of wraps up everything you need to know about Scott Quagg. The kid's tough. He hurt. I was genuinely scared for Valdez in that 5th round. He fucking hurt Valdez pretty badly.
Yeah.
Several times.
But I think me and Kimo have been pretty critical of Valdez in the past, and I think people confuse kind of like my personal affections for Valdez with my perceptions of him as a fighter. I think he's really flawed. I don't like the way he fights all that much. He has incredible stamina, which really saves him, I think, both in his punch resistance and just his ability just to keep throwing big punches in the later rounds. But technically, I don't think he's as flawed as I think he is. But personally, I don't like fighters who fight in this style. Like, I feel like he pushes his jab very, very much. His feet really aren't in the best position to get the best leverage in his shots.
Yep.
And he telegraphs his shots, man. Like his left hook, like when he's going to throw that left hook every single time, because he doesn't vary it up at all. And I think he's going to lose if they ever decide to put him in there against another belt holder, or if they were trying to unify, or even if they give a shot against someone like Jojo Diaz, who I'm not even the biggest fan of. Like, I think Jojo beats Valdez at this point, but that's just my 2 cents, guys.
I fully agree. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's an incredibly entertaining fighter and has been in some really, really good scraps. I mean, he's must-see TV in my opinion. But it's like you say, Lim, especially when he starts throwing hooks, it's like he's swinging a fucking baseball. It's just it's really, really telegraphed. Sometimes it's crisp, sometimes it's really wide. He just, I don't know. He kind of gets away with I don't actually scratch that. I don't think he's getting away with it, because even though he's winning, he's getting severely fucking damaged in most of his fights lately. So I think I don't know what they're planning to do with him, but I think they need to be a bit careful the way they match him up, because I think if he has a couple of more of these, I think it's going to be a very short career, man. He cannot keep on doing this. Like you said, Scat hurt him several times. And I mean, just by comparison, look for example, the way that Frampton boxed him. I know Scott was less aggressive in that fight, but he was way more relaxed. He doesn't get into these fucking slugfests all the time. And Valdez just I don't know, man. He just goes toe to toe with these guys so many times and just starts swinging bombs. It's fun, but it's not. It doesn't really add for longevity in your career. But
he's one of the guys that I wonder the whole training, the trainer transition. And I know he never will, because he's such a loyal guy, and Manny's such a good dude. But Manny was known as an amateur coach for the longest time here in Southern California, and I think there's a reason why Mike Conlon left him to train with the Sith Lord in Adam Booth. But if you watch just Valdez kind of go about his training, like, you see why he's in such great shape. It's like the opposite of a Canelo training camp and the way they hit the bags and hit the mitts, but there's really not much technicality behind it, in my opinion. So I want to see him get better in that aspect, because you're right, Kimo. If he keeps fighting at this pace in the manner that he does, he's going to be out of the game in about 2 to 3 years. And it's a damn shame, because he's such a good dude. His girlfriend is so hot, and he should have a good life, man. I don't want to see that get ruined. No, his girlfriend really is fired, though.
Do you not think Scott Quigg cheated in the lead up to the fight with the weight and stuff?
I think for me, it's a matter of intent. Do you think he intentionally decided to do that, or do you think it was inadvertent?
Well, apparently he had that broken foot that prevented him from doing the road work.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either, because his foot looked fine in the fight.
Right.
And yeah, so he's went from super bantamweight to super featherweight, basically. He's just jumped a division, which happens because there's only, 4 pounds difference?
No, yeah, he's gone from super bantam to featherweight.
Yeah, there's 4 pounds difference between that, so. But still, he definitely, I think the intent was, to fuck Valdez up with the weight. So, yeah.
True, I don't want to sound like I'm defending him, but then if he's going in for a title fight and you coming over, then the title's no longer on the line. So then what really would you be at your advantage? Okay, you beat Oscar Valdez, but then you didn't take his titles, and so what's the point?
I don't see a point either, Cam. I don't think he intentionally missed it, but he probably realized at one point that he wasn't gonna, and then he took advantage of it. Because once let's think of it from a selfish perspective, right? Once you realize that you're not going to make the weight and you're generally struggling, wouldn't you at least just, take advantage of it and just try to get the W, so you at least don't, have to go back to square one after the fight? Like I think in the moment he kind of just tried to turn it into a positive. Like the question that Kim was asking him was like about refusing the second day weigh-in, like. That's some bullshit, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way around it. If you want to keep it fair, then you weigh in the day after, or at least they impose that on somehow. Come on, like I agree. I don't know how much he fucking was in the ring, but he could have been absolutely fucking massive, right?
No, I agree with that, Kimo, but I think again that was Scott just using his weight because they've put all this promotion on, everything's ready. If they've requested, so basically it was Valdez's team requesting him to weigh in the next day so he's not above a certain weight. It wasn't the commission or anyone requesting it, so it wasn't official. So that's why he refused. I still don't agree with him refusing, because I'm thinking, well, if you come in overweight anyway, you should make some type of effort to, even out your advantage, which he didn't do.
Yeah.
But I think it was really unprofessional of Scott. Hearns twisted it around and saying, yeah, but with the performance he's put in, he's showing his heart and people are more interested in Scott Quigg. No one's fucking more interested in Scott Quigg. He was a fucking punch bag. He looked like the elephant man after the fight. Only one props I can give to him was buzzing Valdez in the 5th or whatever. And also, that dude can take a fucking body shot, man. Like, some of the shots Valdez was landing to the body and Quigg didn't even flinch, man. Most people just get chopped in half with that shit. That's the only props I can give to Scott. He always goes on about his work ethic and, he's always in the gym. Well, you came in massively overweight. If you had an injury, you have to pull out. You can't say, okay, I was injured, but I didn't want to lose the opportunity to fight for the title because I might not get it again. No, fuck that excuse. If you're not up to it, you're not going to miss. If you're not going to make the weight, then you shouldn't fight.
Ooh, tell him.
Take a breath now.
Come on, fight.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I tell you what, it's kind of like Sham says in the chat, and kind of what you just said, Cam. He didn't intend to cheat initially. Then when he realised that he wasn't gonna, he just thought, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to come in heavy because he's used to having a size advantage over his opponents. And I don't think Scott Quigg's the same fighter if he goes backwards. He takes his weight advantage. He comes into that ring. He tries to bully his opponent. Does he want to win the world title? Yeah, but I think what he would rather have is the win. Because if he gets the win, he'll get the money, and then he'll get another shot at a legitimate world title against Valdez or whoever. And so he took advantage of that shit. I think he's a cheat. I think Steve Kim was right in his anger. You know, if all we had to do is just weigh in, you know, the day after, make some kind of agreement that you're going to be a certain weight. He comes in on fight night. I don't know what weight it was on fight night. He didn't.
It was like 142 pounds.
Yeah, it was massive. It was absolutely massive, and to me, that's just bad taste. You know, you could die in there, and he deserves to get shot on.
Chew, this is why they call him Steve K9 Kim, man. He was going at it, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Rough.
But no, just on Hearn, like Hearn was pretty shameless about it because he didn't really give him any, like he didn't try to, well, he couldn't. He couldn't even explain why not to weigh in. Like he just said, oh yeah, you know, he just went through a lot and just didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah,
and
he tried everything and he knew he couldn't make it.
What about the guy that actually made weight? You know, he probably went through just as much shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like if you make weight, you had a good time. No, you fucking struggled just as much. So what's your excuse? None.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Anyone else?
But let's not shit on my boy Eddie too much, man. He's been having a good year.
He's killing it.
Those turtlenecks, though, man. Those turtlenecks are bad luck.
I think it's good.
Hater, bro. You're such a beater bum.
All right. Any other fights you guys want to talk about? I've kind of covered everything between now and our last show. Kimo, I do want to kind of go through things with you because obviously you've not been on this year, so there's quite a few fights you might want to talk about. I can refresh your memory if you want to.
Yeah. Do it. I'll go quick.
Your boy,
I want to get to this fucking AJ card, man. I'm hyped.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Groves Eubank, Bivol and Barrera, and then Wilder Ortiz, Rung Vasai Estrada, and the fights that we had in the World Boxing Super Series at Cruiserweight.
Okay, real quick. Groves Eubank was a good event, but a very average fight. I was disappointed, but vindicated, obviously. Even though Leon was,
bro. Please.
Okay, I do need to prepare a little bit. I forgot what he said, man. What did he say again? He's like, which camera can I look into? I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember he was saying, listen, you're either good at boxing or you're not. I think this guy's living in a fancy land, you know, he just needs to retire.
He's looking at houses like he's going to buy him.
In all honesty though, why is Prince Naseem not on every fucking broadcast? Like, he is a fucking gold mine.
Too big for the TV.
I think not only that, but I think persona-wise, I think he's too big. Because there was a couple of deader times in that interview that was a little bit awkward, but it was amazing.
It was excellent. He doesn't play by the rules, right? He just says it like it fucking is, and he interrupts everybody.
My favorite part was that he was like, "Yeah, he needs to retire, or it's too late for him." And that black guy with the glasses next to him, like, he put his hand on Naseem's arm, was like, "No, you can't say that." And Naseem was like, "No, you can't. Trust me." Amazing.
Yeah, he's a fucking genius. But yeah, that was probably the best moment of the whole night. I think the fight was very average. Eubank, as usual, just shows a lot of inactivity in the ring, a very passive attitude. Yeah, just utter disappointment. And I kind of call this, right? So I got to pat myself on the back a little bit. And you know, hashtag Team Saint GG, man. He's been vindicated, and it's again, I think it's remarkable how he's turned his career around. I really, really got to take my hat off to him. You know, coming back to getting fucking slept in front of 80,000 people, I think is not to be underestimated. I think that just imagine, you know, mentally what he had to go through to fucking overcome that, because that is embarrassment and fucking, you know, like just destroying your whole potential career at its highest, right? I mean, it could have ended him, but it didn't. Stuff like that ends so many fucking people, and he's persevered. You know, granted, he won the title a little bit in a funky way with it, you know, fighting Chudinov for a vacant title, but still, man, like he's totally rebuilt himself, and I think he's got a shot shot, by the way, against Callum, who I want to touch quickly upon later as well. But I think he's got a good shot. I don't think Callum's that good. So Groves could win this whole goddamn thing, and I'm super proud of him. Then to just quickly touch on Callum Smith, very fucking average. He fought a guy, by the way, that I'm a big fan of, Nicky Holsken, Dutch kickboxer, really good in kickboxing, but he's at the end of his career, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows this, but he is he's had like fucking, I don't know how many fights, like 80 fights or something in kickboxing, and he's been already on the downside for quite a while, getting overtaken by these young guys, and then he goes in there and gives Callum Smith 12 hard rounds, which to me is baffling. Is it a short notice opponent? Yes. So fucking what? He's a high guard, come forward guy. Like that should be easy goings for you, and it wasn't. So again, Smith is just fucking overrated. I haven't seen a good performance from Smith ever since he knocked out Rocky from Stocky. That's it. No, honestly, I'm not even joking, right? That was his last good performance.
I just like when you say Rocky from Stocky. That's why I'm laughing.
Because I fucking love Rocky from Stocky, man. I have a weak spot for him. Even though I can't understand a word he says in interviews, but I think he's fun.
He does have a very harsh Scouse accent, but
Fly Cam was a fantastic card. Great fucking fight in the main event. Just thoroughly enjoyed it, man. And I like the fact that these guys are now filling up arenas. It's really fun to watch. And I hope Tom keeps it going. I really do hope so with his 360 promotions. He's doing a good job. But Estrada, again, was a little bit disappointing. Yes, he sold out in the end, which, I did not expect. And he just went toe-to-toe. But again, maybe I overrated him a little bit together with Nyota. I don't think he's as slick as we like to say he is. He looks good, but he can't really get his own offense off as much as he should. So Susicat did another fantastic job, and deserved the W.
Shout out to my rat-eating brother.
Yeah, man, fucking beast.
Wilder Ortiz.
Slightly overrated fight. First 4 rounds were very fucking boring. Nothing was happening. Then when people started getting tagged, it was definitely fun, man. Ortiz, man, I feel like he could have won that fight.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fucked up.
I feel like it was his fight to lose, basically. And God damn it, man, I just don't understand it. Somehow Wilder recovered, and he let Wilder off the hook. And he was stumbling around on his fucking Bambi legs like we've seen before. And then all of a sudden, kabam, out of nowhere, he lands that haymaker and just turns the whole fight around. He should have finished him off. I don't know. I have a feeling if that's somebody like AJ, they're not going to let that one go. Maybe his Cuban instinct doesn't really allow him to fucking finish somebody properly. But I don't know. I don't know. He should have fucking finished him off. But yeah, it was definitely fun towards the later round, Cam. I enjoyed it.
Most definitely.
What else we got left? Bivell's performance against Sullivan Barrera.
Man, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I was kind of bored in that fight halfway.
I'm just hanging up on you, bro.
No, that's fair. As long as you don't say that you weren't impressed, that's totally fine. Because sometimes a boring performance is more impressive than a entertaining performance. So I'm completely fine with that.
It was a more workman-like performance, right? And he's very effective at what he does. He's very skilled. I see what you guys see in him. I'm not that much on the hype train, but I think he's a classy operator. But I just know, man. I just got a little bit bored through the middle rounds, and then the knockout in the end was cool. But yeah, I like Bivol, and I want to see him in big fights. I'm definitely intrigued by him, but I'm not going crazy about him. He doesn't spark that electricity in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Lastly, Usyk versus Bradis, and then Garcia versus Dotikos.
Yeah, Usyk for once was in a really good fight. Bradis brought it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't spectacular or whatever, but it was a real damn good fight. Man, Gassiev against Doritos was fucking amazing. Yeah, it was just 12 rounds of fucking power punching until somebody fell. And I honestly thought that Gassiev was quite dominating because most of I keep calling him Doritos, but is it Doritos or what is it, Cam? How do we pronounce this shit?
Dorticos.
Thank you. He was, I think he was landing gloves most of the fight, to be honest. I didn't see him hit Gassiev clean that many times. So again, Gassiev, even though he kind of looks like a fucking, crazy brawler, he's got some finesse, man, and he even outboxed him a lot of times on the back foot. He's got some slickness in him. I really enjoy that. And he picked his shots, and he just kept on fucking, grinding away at him, and then eventually fucking put him out. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm very hyped. I'm very hyped for this guy. I think he's very enjoyable to watch, and I hope to see an announcement soon on the fight in Saudi Arabia, because I think there's a very big chance I'll end up going if I'm here. So Jeddah is like 2.5 hours away from me. You're not allowed in the country, mate.
Why?
You can't get a visa for Saudi Arabia unless you might actually, because you have an American passport. But most people, you can't really get in the country unless it's for religious reasons or business. So
I could say religious reasons.
Okay. Yeah,
I want to go to that fight. Like that might be the fight that I'm looking forward to the most this year. I'm looking forward to that. I'm more excited about that than Loma Linares. Like, what's a better fight than that right now?
It's a fucking brilliant fight.
I love Gassiev, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy had 30 amateur fights, bro, and he's this fucking good. He's 23 years old.
I forget how young he is, man. It's crazy.
He has the best left hook to the body. It reminds me of Lockton in his prime. And I think it directly rubbed off on him, because that's where he started training camp in Big Bear with our boy Abel Sanchez. So I love his left hook to the body. It's so clean and snappy.
Man, that KO last year, that left hook to the body is insane. It's probably one of my favorite body shots of all time.
Speaking of cruiserweights, Kimo, we can't forget, what'd you think about Chamberlain versus Okoli?
What a fucking disappointment, man.
British beef, man, gave him mad cow disease.
I was hyped for that shit. I was fucking fired up for it, and it sucked ass, man. What a terrible fight. And Okoli won. You know what I mean? Like, everybody expected his Bambi legs to get knocked the fuck out, and then he just kind of hurts the other guy as well, and dominates the fight. It's just sad. God damn it. Anyway, British beef was a downer. Anything else?
That's about it, Kimo, unless there's any other fights that you were really entertained by that you want to mention.
No. I think we should do the previews, and there's maybe some news that I want to touch upon later on as well.
Like some Canelo news, maybe?
God damn it, man. We can't hide anymore, can we, Lim? It's getting to the point where the fight's in serious jeopardy, and it's just sad, man.
Well, let's get into the news now, and then we can do the previews then. So, yeah, let's get into.
Do you want to? I want to do previews first, Cam.
Okay. Then.
I don't want to do a Debbie Downer and then do the previews. You know what I mean? Like, AJ deserves our full on hype.
That's a fair point.
Okay.
Unreserved.
All right then.
Let's kick it off, man. Let's kick it off.
Lim, I did ask you.
I'm so excited.
Lim, I did ask you.
Femi.
All right. All right. Calm down, Lim. I think I did ask you and Chu about your opinion on this fight, because I wasn't sure if we are going to have a Kimo special or not. So just give us your opinion again, how you see the fight playing out, in case it has changed since last time.
Well, Femi looks damn good at the weigh-ins.
I'm glad he came in 12 pounds lighter than the last fight.
That's impressive, man. That's really impressive. I'm not even trolling right now, but to lose 12 pounds for a heavyweight, just because you kind of have that self-realization that I need to cut weight, like, that's really, really good on Femi. I'm proud of him, dude. I'm sure he just switched the Lucozade sugar version with a non-sugar version. That's how he lost. So, I still watch that Lucozade video, Cam, from about a year ago. It's fucking beautiful, man.
Does it still get you hyped?
You know, the thing about Femi is that AJ, he is unbearable. Like, I cannot watch his interviews. He's so cringeworthingly boring and repetitive and just trite. nothing that he says is of any value. It's like getting a book from your local bookstore on how to live life as a good person, and every single, piece of every sentence is copied directly in everything that Femi says in an interview. So I can't stand it from that perspective, but he really does just check all the boxes from an appearance standpoint, man. Like, he is the dude. And when you watch him just kind of do anything, hold events, press conferences, weigh-ins, like, you just feel the magnitude of this guy's presence. And with the Canelo news, I think this is like a perfect time for AJ to become that number one undisputed guy in boxing. That's just the bearer of everything that is the sport. So I'm excited. I don't view much of Parker. I don't think Parker's very good. I think his style is perfect for AJ. He doesn't have much power. I don't even know what his KO ratio is, but I know he hasn't stopped anyone since he has defended his title against higher opposition. Whoa, but I think one thing that you definitely do need to beat AJ is power. You have to get his respect. And I know Parker has pretty decent hands. He throws combinations pretty quickly, but he does it at a range that I think is just going to be too comfortable for AJ. So I'm going to pick AJ by stoppage in the 8th round.
Nice. Chu, has your opinion changed since the last show?
Yeah, actually, since the last show, I was expecting Parker to knock him out. I'm actually of the opinion that AJ is going to knock him out. Yeah, AJ. I think Anthony Joshua is going to knock him out.
What's changed your mind?
I don't know, man. I'm getting the impression that, this Dave Higgins guy, Parker's promoter, he's giving it the big one. He's trying to play all the mind games heavy, and he's basically just leaving Parker to kind of get on with it. He's chilled out, but I don't know. I get the impression for that camp that they're just happy to be there. Like, I don't think Parker's coming to win, but I don't know, man. I'm just, out of the two, I'm thinking Joshua's kind of handling it better. I don't know why. I don't know why, and just the attributes that Joshua's got as well. I definitely think that Joshua's got a weak chin. But like Dan said there, I think I'm kind of overrating Parker's power a bit. He's not knocked anyone out for a while, and the guys he did knock out, weren't very good. So since he's stepped up a level, he's not really knocked anyone out. Whereas Joshua has knocked everyone out. So I don't know, man. I'm just been thinking, since the Chris Eubank Jr. fiasco, I put too much emphasis on mind games and how each guy looks at the weight and how the kind of events unfold. And you know what, man? I'm just going to go back to fucking basics. Who's got the better skills? The Olympic gold medalist. Who's the bigger guy? Joshua. Who punches harder? Joshua. Who's faster? Well, it's kind of like a dead heat. Whose home turf is it? Joshua's. Is Joshua fought in front of 80,000 people before? Yes. Is Parker? No. And he's travelled to a different hemisphere, never mind a different country. He's probably fucking freezing at the minute.
That's why he was looking like Malcolm X.
I was thinking that, yeah. With the overcoat and the glasses.
Crazy.
They're Clark.
But yeah, like, when you think about it, all the advantages go to Joshua. And it would be a bit of a fucking shock if Parker wins, to be honest with you. Even though I think he's a very live underdog. Yeah, I expect Joshua to win.
Kimo, what do you think?
Here's the thing, man. I've never been impressed by Parker. So I've seen a few old fights of him where he's knocking out nobodies, and again, that doesn't mean shit to me. The biggest point of reference that I've got is the Andy Ruiz fight, and I think we all agree that was not an impressive performance, right? He was getting pushed back. I think we can conclude from that fight that he's got a very good chin. And Andy Ruiz by no means, Mike Tyson or whatever, but he can definitely punch. And he cracked him a few times. And Parker, it seems very, very sturdy, right? He's a very solid guy. I mean, he's fucking Samoan. I think those are some of the fucking toughest people in the world, right? Shout out to our boy Mark Hunt, Lim. So I think he's probably got a granite chin, and whether he can take AJ's punches, I'm not quite sure. But the size advantage to me is very apparent, Cam. I mean, AJ just looks absolutely humongous next to him. He's got the size, he's got the reach as well. I think AJ is just going to stick a jab on him and probably going to end up pushing Parker back. I'm quite curious to see if he actually comes forward. That's my main kind of question mark, because like you saw in the Andy Ruiz fight, like he was just backpedaling most of the fight.
Yeah.
He wasn't really coming at Ruiz. He was trying to box, and he's not that good of a boxer. Yeah, he can jab a little bit here and there and throw a combination and then try to pivot away, but he's not good at it. Like he's by no means a skilled boxer in my opinion. So I have a feeling he's going to be on the back foot. Will he try to sell out and come forward and tag AJ? Maybe. To be fair, I think that's his best shot, right? So he's got to land. He has to, but will he be able to? I think will he get discouraged once he gets a jab hammering in his face? I don't know if he will, man. A lot of times these guys, they come into these big events and they instead of really going for it, they end up just cowering backwards and just not being able to get off. So I don't know.
I think he has to go the Takam route to have any kind of success. Just have I actually haven't seen too much of Parker's fights previous to that Ruiz and the Huey fights. I don't know really what his style is, but again, if you're going to fight on your back foot, being the smaller guy with a shorter reach against AJ, I think that's a bad recipe.
Well, that's why I'm kind of unsure, because he's fought in different ways in a lot of different fights, and there's only one style that I think is comfortable at mid-range against Ruiz. Ruiz majority of the fight was taking little half steps forward, so Parker was on the back foot, but he wasn't under pressure, so he could kind of box as he pleased, and he wasn't really put on it, unlike when he fought Takam, where there was shifts in that fight where Parker was on the front foot throwing lots of shots, and Takam was on the back foot. But then when Takam would throw a lot of shots and come forward, Parker looked really uncomfortable. His defense was quite brittle. There were holes in it where Takam could hit him clean. Against Huey, who was basically running backwards, Parker had to be on the front foot, and he looked pretty poor then. Like, he was missing quite badly. He was telegraphing his punches. So the only really perfect distance I think Parker fights at is kind of mid-range, when he can kind of box. But if AJ pushes him backwards, which I suspect which is going to happen, I don't really see a style that he can use. The only thing I would maybe suggest is just trying to sit on AJ's chest and work on the inside, but I don't think he's really comfortable at doing that. So I'm not sure what his game plan is gonna be.
I'm very curious as well, Cam, because he doesn't seem to have the temperament to be able to pull something like that off. Like, he doesn't strike me as an aggressive fighter. He doesn't. I always see a very laid back guy in the ring, so to speak. Like, I don't see somebody who's just gonna run forward and start throwing bombs. I don't see that. So I have a hard time believing when he sits there and is in the face off and says, "I'm gonna knock you out." How exactly are you planning to do that? Because, like you said, when he's on his back foot, he ain't knocking nobody out. Like, there's not fucking happening.
Yeah. I think Parker can, though, because Parker's got more power than Dillian White. Dillian White rocked AJ.
Yeah, but he caught him with a punch that he didn't see, Chu, and it was in the middle of an exchange. Like, Dillian White dragged into a brawl.
Well, that's what Parker's got to do. He's got to drag AJ into a brawl. I don't think either guy has got the stamina to kind of wait the other guy out in the later rounds. I think Parker's just got to go for it, test that chin. Like, I'm not convinced on AJ's chin. I've been watching these amateur fights. He was getting knocked out in the amateurs. And so, obviously he's bulked up all since then, but, I think Parker's definitely got the power to hurt him. Whether he does or not, I don't know. I personally think AJ's jab will probably be the difference.
I watched the. Yeah, go on, Kim.
Do any of you see it going the full distance, the first fight where AJ doesn't get a stoppage?
I can see it because he's got a very good chin, and if he keeps backpedaling, AJ might just not catch him with that perfect shot.
But how do we know he has a good chin?
He's Samoan, bro. Come on.
Yeah, Samoan.
All right.
Name me one Samoan with a bad chin. I'll wait.
I only know 2 Samoans, so that's kind of a flawed question for me to answer.
David Tua, bro.
Oh, that's 3. Okay, all right. You're right.
What about Robert Whittaker?
Oh, yeah, but dude, this is boxing only, bro.
Yeah, but chin is chin, bro. It's
yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Samoans are tough motherfuckers, bro.
You're right. But this guy just, I don't know, man. He's not like a mainland, you know what I mean? Like he's from New Zealand. Like he's not from the island of Samoa, you know? No, but anyways, I'm digressing.
He's got the haka.
I just, to me, guys, it's just a size difference.
Did you not see the weigh-in?
Yeah, the dance.
Yeah, I did. It was cool, man. That was good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, but AJ's just too big. He really is just massive. Like when you compare the two, like you know how we talked about the Quigg versus Valdez weight discrepancy a couple of minutes ago, and I know the size is relative, but like those guys differed in 3 pounds, and we were crying foul play. And what AJ just to me looks like a guy who's legitimately 20 pounds heavier than Parker.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that on the forums, like there's always been a suspicion that AJ's been on steroids. But on the forums, the forums are really intensifying that talk at the minute. You know, obviously Parker said that AJ is the king of steroids. You know, Wilder's been very vocal about it as well. You know, I personally think that he takes it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
All right.
Mate, he is definitely on some shit. I mean, come on.
Do we know that for sure? And I know we're going to talk about that later. But like we've seen guys, I don't know. Like you guys have been around just genetic freaks, right? And AJ just might be that type.
No, there's a difference between genetic freaks and when you look like you've done steroids. He looks like he's done steroids. His belly has a fucking curve, you know what I mean? And his abs are like popping out. That shit is fucking got steroids, HGH written all over it. I'm sorry.
Yoel,
I love AJ.
Yoel, bro?
Huh?
Yoel.
Case in point. There you go.
I know, but anyways, that's irrelevant right now. I love AJ too, man.
We shouldn't get into that, Lim. We shouldn't get into that because it's more about the cannibalization of the sport. But like,
right, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'd take steroids, breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well if I can get AJ's body. So I don't blame the guy, man.
I mean, just look at pictures of him when he was like a bit younger. Like,
yeah,
yes, he grew up. He grew obviously like a lot of people do, but this is not growing. This is deforming.
This is what.
I don't know. As far as I know, I think UK anti-doping are all year round. So if he was dirty, I think he would have been cut out by now.
Nah, Cam, come on.
As far as I know,
this is the fight game, man. I believe there's a lot of people that are on some shit, and AJ's got the backing and the money to come up with something a little more sophisticated than clenbuterol. You know what I mean?
Was it UK anti-doping that caught Kid Galahad and them?
Yep.
Well, they're legit then.
Dude, wasn't Kid Galahad on some fucking 1990 shit?
Yeah, it was like
it was like an old school steroid or something. I don't know what it was.
It wasn't Kid, man. His brother did it, man. So come on, let's not blame Kid Galahad.
Why do you still like this fucker? You've always had a sweet spot for Kid Galahad.
I'm trolling, bro. Like that brother excuse is fucking terrible.
That's fucking terrible. Yeah.
All right.
You keep liking Kid Galahad, man, but you don't like me anymore, you know.
Nah.
Hey guys, I have a really serious question to ask though. What do you guys think about Deontay Wilder not flying over to do the Sky commentary? Discuss.
We already discussed it, mate. You were late.
Mate, we talked for like fucking 30 minutes about that shit.
Why?
Because it's fucking
Open the
stupid.
show?
Why is he not going there?
Why do you think, man?
Why?
It's retarded. It is really, really dumb.
You don't want the fight.
You don't want the fight. And I know Eddie's being a cunt right now, but he has every right to, man. He has all the leverage in the world. Right. And would you guys be okay with I don't even know if you can stipulate this in the contract, but would you be okay with Deontay fighting what's his face? Dillian White, and then having mandated in the contract that AJ is next?
I don't think it even needs to be mandated. I think if he actually worked with Hearn and made the White fight, then I know for sure that the AJ fight will happen.
I just don't understand it from Hearn's perspective either, though. Like, are you putting White in there so you can just make some money off of White and then have another fight with AJ, or do you think he is legitimately concerned about Deontay and he wants, or he somehow expects White to beat Deontay so that he doesn't have to fight AJ? I'm not quite sure.
Think about it like this, right?
But why risk it though? Because for me, if I'm Hearn, like I feel that Wilder is so he is so flawed that could ruin that payday potentially.
But think about it like this. Look at the heavyweight landscape, right? AJ doesn't have that many big opponents, right? Like who's really in there that can make money? You got White, and you got Wilder, right? White, they can make the fight now or soon, let's say be a rematch with AJ, if they build him up correctly and they give him a little push, right? Well, if he matches him up with Deontay Wilder, okay, Wilder wins, his name is out there even more in the UK and the European scene. He worked with Matchroom, there's an entry point there. They can easily make the AJ fight afterwards if Wilder wins.
Sure.
If White wins, if Dillian White knocks out Deontay Wilder, the rematch between him and AJ is fucking massive in the UK, bro. And
that's where I'm a little bit dubious, though. That's where, because for me, I really feel like you can make Wilder versus Joshua into an international commodity. Like people are clamoring for this fight here in the States.
No.
Really?
They are. Trust me. Like I have casual friends of mine who only watch boxing when it's like Floyd versus Conor or Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Not even Canelo versus Triple G. But when Wilder fought Ortiz and they watched that fight, they were like, dude, when are we going to see AJ versus Wilder?
Really?
And I just think with the heavyweights, like you can make that fight fucking ginormous, in my opinion. With that fight and the rematch in and of itself, like I feel like that can just blow any kind of potential you can have with White versus Joshua, which is a regional commodity at best. So I just, from that perspective, like this Wilder AJ fight, I feel like can be huge, man. I really do. I really want to see that shit.
Yeah, but Joshua doesn't need Wilder. Like this fight against.
But he kind of does in the sense after this too, though, because if you want to be lineal. You want to create history, and to me, you need that WBC strap. Now, does Joshua need Wilder as much as Wilder needs Joshua? Is it even close? Of course not, it isn't. But at the same time, make some concessions, all right? Give Deontay a 70-30 split and just make the fight happen, man, because I think AJ would beat Wilder. The more that I think about it, I think AJ is a heavy favorite in that fight.
Okay, so Parker got 35 split. So
right, but for a bigger total purse. It's 35 of what, hypothetically speaking, 40 to 50 million pounds versus 30% of hypothetically 180 to 100 million pounds. Okay,
but see, my original point is Wilder isn't bringing much to the table. What's he bringing? Like, is that Joshua Wilder going to be pay-per-view in America?
They should. And that's a fantastic point because it is very difficult, I think, to kind of go navigate through that issue just because of the time difference. But I think you absolutely have to make that pay-per-view here in the States because people would definitely pay for it.
That's Showtime pay-per-view, bro.
It has to. And if you do this shit right, which I know Eddie can, I feel like you can do similar numbers to Triple G versus Golovkin in terms of pay-per-view sales. Just think about that additional revenue stream, 1.3 to 1.5 million. At $70 a pop here in the States.
Bro, you know the business really well, man.
It doesn't.
this shit, bro, because
No, he
you're right.
doesn't.
I used to shit on Deontay so much, but I'm telling you, dude, like friends of mine that don't give a fuck about boxing were like, dude, I saw this crazy ass fight, dude. Like, I know there's another big heavyweight in the UK. When are we gonna see these two mammoths fight each other? I was like, I don't know, bro. Hopefully soon.
From Eddie Hearn's point of view, why would he risk his cash cow against Wilder when he could fight, just mandatories every time, have 80,000 sellouts every time, million pay-per-view. This fight of the weekend's probably going to get a million pay-per-views. Like, everyone's talking about it here. Cam, like, everyone's talking about it on the streets, everywhere, on the bus, on the taxi rank, everywhere. Everybody's talking about this fight. Joshua's going to make tens of millions just on this fight alone. Like, why would they risk? And I personally think that he doesn't need Wilder. Does he want the belt? Sure, but Wilder needs to come over and beg. He needs to get on his knees and fucking beg for that fight.
I think they both need each other for the simple point that Kimo just made. And how many fighters can you possibly recycle for AJ to have those paydays that you're just referring to? Like, the viewing public is very stupid, especially the casual fans, but there still does come a tipping point where they do realize that they're getting fucked over. And I'm kind of surprised that whole Deontay thing is becoming even a story. I think it shows that people are actually kind of knowing or coming to grips as to who this guy is.
But Lim, do not underestimate the UK when it comes to having a domestic heavyweight champion. Like, the loyalty in the UK is fucking crazy, right? And he can have, like you said, I do think there is some longevity to be had in just doing, title defenses and just letting Sky and letting the hype train go off. I mean, just look at the fucking production that's going on this week. Sure. Like, I mean, it's just an incredible promotion. I really, really, I know I kiss Sky's ass a lot of times, and AJ, I'm not a big fan of him because he just doesn't entertain me in his personality. But God damn it, man, they know how to fucking promote him. And the UK becomes very like loyal and proud. Like, they get behind a fighter in ways that, for example, in the States you do not have. Well, maybe the Mexicans do, but the Americans do. They don't get behind a fighter like the people in the UK do, right? Like, that loyalty is there for fucking a long ass time. So they'll support him regardless.
I completely agree with what you guys are saying, but the only counter that I have is that a fight with Deontay and a rematch potentially will, in my opinion, if done correctly, generate what AJ would make in 6 fights versus some of these other fighters that you guys are referring to. And I personally, as much as I shit on AJ, I do feel like AJ is the type of dude who does want to make history. And if I'm AJ, man, like, it's just that 4th belt, like the thing with Triple G as well. Like, that's why you fight guys like Billy Joe Saunders, even though they don't bring much to the table. It's just that last fucking belt. I'd want that shit.
Agreed.
What I will say is that I think Wilder's team have done a really good job of backing Eddie Hearn into a corner. So that if he doesn't fight Wilder next, if he does go the mandatory route of Povetkin and David Price or whoever, then it's going to look really bad. It is going to look like they're bitching out of the Wilder fight, which, to be honest with you, I don't think is the case. I think Joshua beats Wilder, not easily, because, Wilder's got a chance, but, you know what I mean? They've done a really good job of just, like, punking Eddie Hearn out. So props to them. Props to Shelley Winkle and all them.
No,
how have they
yeah,
punked
I think Eddie's
him
done
out?
a better job.
I think it's the complete opposite.
Eddie just punked Deontay Wilder of not flying to Cardiff for a job that he was committed to performing in a contract.
No, that's two different things. I mean, people will forget about that next week. Like, people will forget about that next week. No one's gonna.
I can make the same argument that people will forget about Deontay in the same manner, just because of that passion and loyalty that you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the argument that I made, so I'm right either way.
By the way, Shams just mentioned in the chat as well somebody that we haven't talked about, which is Tyson Fury. I to be honest, man, point taken. Tyson is a potential mega fight as well, but I don't want to talk about him unless I see him back in the fucking ring. And his first fight isn't going to be Anthony Joshua. So until that point, I don't really give a fuck. I want to see him back in shape, and I want to see him back looking semi-decent before I even consider him to be an opponent. To me, he's not an active fighter, and he won't be until he gets in the fucking ring again. To me, he's retired. I really don't give a shit about him. And he can get on as many fucking interviews as he wants. He can post as many training videos of himself looking like a fat fuck as he wants. But he abandoned the sport and the fans, so I don't really give a shit about him.
All right.
What's wrong with his voice as well?
He damaged. I think someone inspiring punched him in the throat, and I think he's got a bit of damage.
Oh. Well, so it's in
anyone else regarding the AJ Parker fight?
I'm just looking forward to Sweet Caroline, bro. It's going to be fucking amazing.
I'm just looking forward to the whole panel, the Sky production. I love it.
Well, I want to get into that, Kimo. Kimo, I thought we should spend 30 minutes to dissect the face-off between Eddie Hearn and David Higgins.
Did you actually end up watching it, Cam, or not?
I did watch it, and it's just corny as fuck, bro.
I didn't even think it was that corny. I thought it was pretty decent.
But why are they even doing it? It's not like, come on. I know it's a bit of a bit cheeky in that, but come on.
You know what? I think David Hay was right all along. I think Eddie loves the fucking spotlight. And he's just like, yeah, mate, let's do a face-off with me and Dave Higgins. I think they just enjoy fucking putting a camera in his face, man. All right? I don't see any point of doing it. I don't think it's a story as they like to portray it is, the fact that they've been going back and forth. I don't think it's a story. I don't think it's, I don't think it's a feature of this fight. But, yeah, some of the banter during press conferences was funny, but that's where it ends. I don't think it needed a 15-minute production, but I enjoyed it because, they were both pretty clever going back and forth to each other. So it was fine. I'll watch it. But actually, it was better, Cam, than the AJ Parker face-off. That shit was boring as fuck. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. I think both personalities don't really come across well in these type of face-off situations. But just quickly, I did put a tweet out this week about boxing scene. I think they've been awful for the last 10 days. It's just Wilder said this and Hearn said this and this person has said this. It seems like a chat room for teenage girls. It's been awful, man. The sooner this fight's over, I just want to see proper boxing news once again.
Well, what's proper boxing news?
Just
focuses on Phil Greco talking about Amir Khan's wife.
That's important, bro.
Mate, the three headlines that I've seen lately are this bullshit, and then we've got Mayweather going to MMA, which makes me want to fucking shoot myself, and then we also have the Canelo steroid shit. That's the three headlines that have constantly gone back and forth. I haven't seen really anything else that's that's like like an interesting news piece, man. It's been fucking despicable lately.
It's been like that for the past 5 years, essentially. Nothing's new, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go through the undercard of AJ. Do you use Kimo? Do you secretly hope David Price doesn't die in this fight against Alexander Povetkin? Because it's a dangerous fight for this dude, man.
Mate, I'm always excited for a David Price fight. I don't know why.
Do you think he can pull it off? Do you think he can just get that magic punch that lands clean on Povetkin and ices him?
I don't think it's magic. I think he's always got a chance to land that punch. I mean, look at the fucking size difference, man. David Price is a mammoth of a guy, and he's got power. We all know that. But
the only problem is Povetkin does have the style that that Price hates, man. That guy that's going to come forward for lots of shots, lesser talented guys than Povetkin, Christian Hammer, and inflict that same style, and he just folds under pressure, man. He can't handle it.
No, I mean, this is David Price is I don't know how to describe it, but for him it's basically go for the knockout or lose. That's the only game plan. He can't box, and I think maybe MvChu said that the other day on one of the shows. dude, just go all out, try to land a punch, and if you can't get him out in the first 2 rounds, just take a dive, like just lay down. Like you're gonna get fucking gassy and knocked out. And by the way, I don't think David Price's chin, by the way, is as bad as everybody claims it to be. I think it's his stamina, man. I think he just something happens with him when he gets pressured. He starts breathing very heavily, very quickly. He gets very anxious and nervous. He burns a lot of energy, and then all of a sudden his defense goes out the window, and he starts like rolling his head very slowly back and forth with his hands down, and then he gets caught by one of these overhand hooks, and that's probably what's going to happen in this fight, right? Povetkin's just going to bob and weave a bit, try to jab his way in, and then just throw a loopy hook, and hit him, and he's probably going to go down, but there's still a chance, man. There's still a chance, and I hope he just tries and gets away with it. But very, very low chance of happening. I don't know. Povetkin didn't look that good at the weigh-in, though. He didn't look roided up like in some of the other fights. So let's see.
If Emmanuel Stewart was still alive, David Price would be a world champion right now.
I don't know about that.
There is a boxer in there somewhere. There is a world champion in there somewhere. It's just a race against time, and nah, I'm joking, man. No,
it's kind of like when you tell fat people that they have abs. They do have a 6-pack in there somewhere, but it's just really hard to get through it, all that excess fat.
In all seriousness, he's got a knockout punch, but he's got the equivalent extremely bad chin. So he's an extremely exciting, interesting fighter to watch, because he could knock the other guy out, or he'll get knocked out in the process. But a guy that height with his attributes really should be causing a lot more damage in that division. It's just the chin, man. What can you say? It's heavyweight boxing. Every single guy can knock you out, and I just don't see him being any kind of success whatsoever. There's something about Audley Harrison about him,
Audley fucking Harrison. Yeah, but he's such a likable guy. That's the sad thing about it. Like, he just seems a genuinely nice guy, and I don't know. Even just looking at his face, like he's just this big, friendly ginger giant, and I always want to just root for him, man. Like, he's just, I don't know. I just have a soft spot for him. But he, let's not undermine also the damage that he's taken so far. Like, he's been caught a few times really cold, and it's, I don't know. I just don't want to see him get badly hurt. I'm obviously rooting for a victory here, but the main concern for me is that he doesn't really get put to sleep again like the other fight, where he was like lying half outside the ropes and just fucking dead almost. Like that shit is quite scary.
It's just that some boxers wake up when they get punched. Some boxers wake up when they get punched, if you know what I mean. He wakes up when he gets punched, as in he's been knocked out. But some boxers, when they get hit, it's like the devil comes out in them. I just don't think, like you just said, I don't think he's got that personality. He's just too nice.
Yeah.
Lim, any opinion, or shall we move on?
No, I'm good, man.
All right, let's go through the rest of the undercard, and you guys can pick any fights you want to discuss. Ryan Burnett's defending his WBA title. He vacated the IBF because I think they were going to have scheduling issues, so he's only got one title at the moment. He's fighting Jofres Perejo. Josh Kelly's fighting Carlos Molino. Joe Cordina's fighting Hakim Ben Ali. And Corollo's on the undercard against Edison Ramirez, and Joshua Buatsi's on there as well in a 6th rounder. So I guess probably the highlight, Kimo, is Josh Kelly versus Carlos Molina. Quite a decent step up for Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I need to know though, when was Molina's last fight? Because this guy disappeared off the map, right?
No, we all thought that, but he has been fighting. I thought the same thing. I looked at his. He fought twice last year. July and in October. He fought 4 times in 2016, or sorry, 5 times in 2016. So he has been active, but it's a lot of fights in Mexico. He's fought in France was his last fight, and then Santo Domingo was the fight before that. So he has been active.
So he fought K9, and then he basically had, I'm looking at it right now, Jesus Christ, he had like 8 fights in Mexico, and then a few other miscellaneous fights. Like, but he's coming off of 2 losses, I can.
Yeah.
Against, I don't even know who the fuck those people are. So I guess this is a really good matchmaking from Matchroom because, he's a vet. You know, he's crafty. He can't really punch, so he'll give him rounds. And I don't think he's ever been stopped, right? So, this is a good matchup. I know how they're gonna fucking sell it. You know, veteran Carlos Molina has never been stopped, and then Josh Kelly's gonna fire off a fucking 5-punch left hook combination and then put him to sleep.
Ian John Lewis just jumps in.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe he just puts him to sleep. I don't know. I like Josh Kelly, man.
I don't think he put him to sleep, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a kind of dodgy British stoppage if it is stopped. But looking at his resume, Kimo, it's funny, you know, the fight that he lost in Santo Domingo. It was an 11-rounder.
11-rounder?
I've never seen that before.
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
I don't know, man. That could be some underground shit. I don't know.
Fight Club.
No, I like Josh Kelly, man. He's with the Sith Lord, isn't he?
Adam Booth, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the. I don't know, man. Whoever is with Adam Booth, I have very much faith in them. I really, really like Adam Booth as a trainer, and I think he's one of these guys that whenever you see somebody fight under him, you can visually see the result. Like, I can see the difference. Like, even with Michael Conlan, like, he's starting to sit down on his punches a little bit. I know he's fighting a bum, but, like, he looked better, man. I really, really like Booth as a trainer. And Kelly has explosive fucking power.
Yeah. Chu or Lim?
Gabe? One?
Any opinions, Chu?
I personally think that Josh Kelly's good, but he's overhyped. He's not really faced anyone yet. He fought in the Olympics. Did he get a medal?
Not sure.
Don't think so.
I don't think he did.
I mean, I've even heard him getting name checked on the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff.
What?
Yeah, some 2 British guys, Liam Harrison, another guy whose name I forget. Yeah, the 2 Muay Thai guys, they were name checked.
Yeah.
I think there's better prospects in the UK than Josh Kelly. Don't get me wrong, he's good.
Yeah, but they probably sparred him or something, and then they bring him, they kiss his ass a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he's Monica's pretty boy, but you know, you're putting yourself on a bit of a pedestal, comparing yourself to the best ever, or one of them.
By the way, shout out to Hitman Harrison, bro. I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah, beast. Did you see Joe Rogan hitting the pads with him?
Joe has shit boxing skills, but he got good kicks from his taekwondo background, man.
Yeah,
he knows how to throw a nice low kick for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, just back to Josh Kelly. Yeah, I'm on the fence. Like, he's good.
You want to see some more?
I want to see him face a live body.
Okay.
Because I mean, he's fighting punch bags at this moment.
Yeah, but it's his 6th fight, man. At least he's like fighting somebody.
Yeah, I think Molina's a good step up for his 6th
Anthony
fight.
fucking Yard, you know. Fuck Yard, bro.
All right.
I think, yeah, he needs to fight someone with power who can hit him back. We'll see what's what.
No, that's fair, but I don't think that's going to happen for at least his like 10th, 12th fight, something like that. But Kimo, Chu, the fights I read out, the other ones I don't really have any interest in. If you guys do, go ahead, give us your thoughts, or we'll move on.
Nah, it's just a bunch of dudes beating up TBAs, right? I don't even know who Krolla is fighting. Our
Ryan
Our
Burnett.
boy, Ryan Burnett. I don't know the opponent, man. Honestly, this is where we need Nyota sometimes on because I have no fucking idea who that is.
It's Yanfres Parejo. He's a Venezuelan, 21, 10 KOs, 2 losses, 1 by stoppage. He's 31 years old.
Is he a mandatory? Is this a voluntary defense? Like,
Yeah,
who is
it's
this guy?
mandatory for the WBA, yeah.
Okay,
No, he's good.
well,
Don't
I'll
be.
watch it.
He's a really good fighter. He reminds me of a young Oscar De La Hoya in his prime, with a little bit of Sugar St. Mosley sprinkled in.
Well, at least he's in shape, Cam. Like, he looks pretty ripped, so I can appreciate that. I just don't really like Ryan Burnett fights. I think they're very ugly. It's not very entertaining for me. So I like the guy himself, but his fights are not aesthetically that very pleasing. We got Joe's boy Cordina as well on there against the fucking nobody, right?
Cordina.
Yeah, the Welsh dude, right?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is? Joe Cordina? He's the new Welsh hype, and our boy Boatsi Cam as well, fighting a fucking Polish truck driver.
Yeah, I think we should move on. All right, next show will probably be in about 3-4 weeks. So 7th of April, we got Arizona Lara versus Jarrett Hurd, unified 154 titles. Caleb Truax versus James DeGale for a rematch for the IBF super middleweight title. J Rock's
Where is that, Cam?
That's at
Vegas.
a place that we've stayed, Kimo.
At the Hard Rock.
At the Hard Rock in Vegas.
I'm going to that
what?
shit, bro.
Yep.
That's such a random place.
Hey, Kimo. Hit up my
Yeah.
garage. Hey, concierge. Big
right.
bomb, bitch. Big titty.
Also, Sergio Moro's fighting El Perro Alfredo Angulo in an 8-rounder on that as well. So
What? Oh my god, are you fucking serious?
yeah. But
Fucking
Kimo, what do you think about Lara versus Hurd?
I like the fight. You know, I think it's a good fight. I have a feeling that Hurd's is gonna take that last little bit of gas that fucking Lara has left in his career, and I think he's gonna fucking extinguish his ass. I
Why do
really
you
think
say
so.
that?
Because I think he's getting to that point where he's not that active anymore. He's on the downside of his career. Hurd is very crude.
Is that downside that steep, though? Because I think he looks fine.
No, I think this timing is just right. You know, I think this is.
But it's Hurd, bro. Hurd's not a good fighter, man.
I know, but he's crude. But he will come forward and throw, and in the end, Lara doesn't have enough activity to keep these type of guys off of him, man. That's the problem. Hurd is in real trouble if he's fighting a guy who can really punch and who will commit to his punches and throwing combinations and box. Like somebody like that will seriously fuck him up, you know. But I don't think Lara is that guy.
Let's see what Hurd's made of.
Well, if Perro can fucking get to Lara, I think Hurd can. Yes, Hurd, I don't rate him at all, but I think he can do this. Stylistically, I favor him in this fight. I think it's still close. I think it's like 60-40, but I think in the end, Lara might get pressured. His legs will go a little bit. Again, how are his legs these days? And then he'll start to fold.
I've got Lara.
Me too. I respect your opinion, and I think on paper, everything you said makes sense. But I think Angulo is a little bit better. He's not I wouldn't say he's a better fighter than Hurd, like that version that fought Lara, but Angulo does some pretty crafty things that I've never seen from Hurd. Like, Hurd to me is just a fucking caveman. He's so goddamn basic. And Trout was winning that fight against Hurd, and I feel like even though Lara's output isn't as high as Trout, I just feel like Lara's on such a different level than Trout, even at this version of him. So I feel like, to me, Lara has the legs to go 12 rounds and just fight on his back foot and not get clipped with some of those shots that Angulo caught Lara as he was circling out. I think Hurd he's just so poor as a fighter in terms of his boxing brain that I feel like Lara will be able to win a decision.
I 100% agree.
And
with him.
this is his first step up, man. I mean, in terms of like that high level opposition. Well, what's Hurd's best fight to date? Is it Trout?
Yeah, must be.
And Trout to me has been a gatekeeper, a very high level gatekeeper at that, fighting these up and coming prospects like Charlo, Hurd, even Lara. But I just feel like what Lara presents is a different kind of issue that Hurd just hasn't seen before.
Yeah.
And I picked Lara in this situation.
I
Between two combatants.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think Hurd, I respect him for, trying to unify and go after Lara. A lot of people try and avoid Lara, but I just think the style matchup is going to be difficult for him. As Lim said, Hurd is basic as fuck. He just walks forward, high-ish guard, and I think he's going to...
High-ish is the right word, Cam.
I think he's going to eat just like straight lefts all night. And he's a tough dude, but I think he's going to take too much punishment, and I think maybe his corner might have to pull him out, or maybe he even gets stopped. Maybe he gets hurt and dropped and stopped. So I'm definitely picking Lara, even though I'm not a fan of his...
definitely not happening, I can tell you right now.
Now you said that, now it's going to happen.
Probably.
No, but that's a good card, man. Like, I really like those cards that are stacked with 3 pretty decent level fights, like in a really small venue, like at the Hard Rock. That's definitely a good little scrap.
Yeah, man. Just go to the Oyster Bar beforehand, just chill out a bit. It's fucking great, man.
Yeah, Kimo, we might see that guy that was on the guitar, the Asian dude. He was awesome.
Yeah, man, I love the Hard Rock, man. Brings back good memories.
Chu, have you seen much of Hurd?
No, I haven't, no. But you guys are mentioning Lara Angulo. That was 5 years ago, and a lot has changed since then. And I just think that if you're struggling with Trout, Lara's probably going to knock you out. Or box you to a comfortable decision.
Play it safe.
Wait, he's Cuban.
Alright, Kimo,
wouldn't
rematch.
it be glorious to see him get knocked out?
Kimo, the rematch between James DeGale, Caleb Truax. Do you think a decent DeGale will show up this time?
I don't know, man. I'd like to think that James DeGale is damaged goods at this point. But I just don't have a lot of faith in Caleb Truax. Until that fight, I thought he was absolutely fucking trash. And yeah, he fought a really spirited fight against James DeGale. But let's face it, the reality is normally I would not think that they're on the same level. But I don't know. I think Truax fought the fight of his life. But I've seen nothing of DeGale. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. I don't know how he's mentally, I know these are all things that I can't discover either by looking at a YouTube video, but they're really big question marks for me. DeGale has taken a lot of punishment, and I personally have always said he was a knockout waiting to happen. And I don't know. I really don't know how this fight's going to go, man. I find it quite mysterious. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I can see DeGale kind of eking out a decision, being a little bit more prepared, and just outboxing him in the beginning and in the later rounds, and taking the whole fucking middle rounds off like he always does, And that's kind of what I foresee. But he could also be, a little bit shot now and getting punished again. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Truax, man. I don't know if he can rise to the occasion again like he did before, because he's just such a slow, plodding fighter in most of his fights. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree. And I think any fighter who looks like him, he's a fucking bum.
Exactly.
Like, he is a bum. Like, you're like, Caleb, we need to go train. Stop eating at that goddamn candy. Like, no, we can't go to Target. You fucker. Yeah. We have to train, But he's just, I don't believe in Truax.
I don't believe in him either.
Boy, he won last time.
I'm sorry. What are you going to say, Cam?
I was just going to say that I've seen DeGale, some of his footage from camp, and he seems like he's having a decent camp, and he's definitely putting out work. And I think DeGale felt quite embarrassed losing his title to Truax, and if he's fully fit, like, his shoulder or his his right arm just seemed wrong on that night. We never really heard anything after it, but if he's fully fit, I see him easily beating Truax. But if he's not, then I think it'll be a close fight where you might have to cross your fingers and hope that the judges give it to him this time. But he definitely didn't deserve to win the first fight. I was glad that Truax actually got a win over here, but I do think De Gale should beat him comfortably in a rematch.
Mm-hmm. No.
Agreed.
No, I've got money on Caleb Truax.
Literally, or are you just bullshitting?
No, not literally. I don't bet on that. But Caleb Truax bullied him last time, pushed him back. De Gale's got a habit of whoever he's fighting in his prime, had a good camp, whatever. De Gale does the same things. He goes on the ropes. He goes on the ropes like it's a hammock. He's just comfortable there. He just likes to hang about the ropes.
That's a great one, too. It's a good one. Like a hammock.
It's true. I don't know. He uses it like as a slingshot or something. It's as if his speed comes from it.
It's like wrestling. It's like wrestling, too.
He's trying to do the clothesline afterwards. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
sweet chin music.
The thing with Truax is he's only got one gear forward. He's like an automatic car in that sense. And I personally think that Truax is going to win again. He's going to win 8-4 over something like that.
If that's the case, then stick a fork in De Gale's career, man. He's fucking done.
He's had a lot of hard fights.
Yeah.
But I think he's made a lot of them hard, though.
Yeah. Or he's just maybe we've all overrated him a little bit, Cam. Like, maybe he's just not that fucking good. Like, just because you have an amateur background and just because you have basic skills doesn't mean you're a good fighter. There's a lot of other, I was going to say intangibles, but they're tangibles, actually, that you need to have in order to be a good fighter. And one of them is stamina. And I think he's very flawed in that respect. I don't know, like the hammock thing, like, that's happening for a reason, man. He's just fucking tired a lot, and he starts chilling on the ropes, or it's a temperament thing, or I don't know what it is, but he doesn't fight for 12 fucking rounds, and that's always going to be an issue with him. And he just gives guys like Truax the opportunity to start teeing off. So I don't know. He's got talent, absolutely. I'll give him that, but
and it's surprising.
Flawed.
His body type just looks like a guy who would have great stamina. Not he's not muscle bound. He's very lanky. He doesn't put much in his punches. He's not overly explosive. It's just very strange. Maybe he just grew up in some like seaside cottage shoe where there's a hammock that he always used to read a book at, and he just has fond memories of a hammock whenever he fights in the ring. That just predisposes himself to the ropes every single time.
Yeah, that was his summer holidays. So, styles make fights. I think De Gale doesn't like body shots. And I noticed in the first fight that, Truax would just come forward with a right hand to the body and just fuck him up. Brock him up. Just be right hand to the body. And it's just, with the Gale's defense, is like, Truax was Madonna on him. Madonna would go right hand to the body, then come upstairs with a hook.
Madonna.
And, like, De Gale does this kind of, not a Mayweather thing. He's not rolling with it, but you know what I mean. He's trying to try to block with his elbows and shit, and it doesn't work. Some people can do it. De Gale can't, and like De Gale tries to go back so far on the ropes to take the heat off the punch, but it doesn't work. He always ends up getting hit right in the face. Truax, put money on it.
All right,
but you won't. It's all good though.
You put money on it, I'm not.
Yeah.
Put your money
I
on
don't
it.
know, man. I don't think he's as slick as Maidana,
You dropped Maidana, didn't you?
So. I did, man, with a body shot.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Sunday, 15th April in Japan, we have Ryo Murata facing Emmanuel Blandamura, the Italian, for the WBA middleweight title, and also Diego Higa versus Christopher Rosales. That's Ramon Gonzalez's cousin. I think he fought Andrew Selby a couple more last year at some point. April 21st. Let's get into Adrian Broner, and we might transition into the Charlos. But Kimo, what's your thought on Jesse Vargas replacing? Who did he replace?
Mike Delano?
No, the candy eater. What's his name?
Shit.
Cam? Who are you talking about?
Adrian Broner's fighting Jesse Vargas, but who was he initially fighting?
Figueroa.
Figueroa, sorry, that's it.
Figueroa.
Damn fool.
It's a replacement. I actually didn't even know that. Yeah, I actually don't mind the fight. It's a decent fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
you picking Vargas?
Yeah, I'm picking Vargas for sure. I mean, I think Vargas will just be disciplined and just outbox him. I mean, Vargas has got he's a sturdy guy. I think Broner at this point is really, really, really fucking mentally out of the boxing game, man. I don't think he has much left. I'm sure if he would train hard physically, he'd still be fine. I mean, he's still young and he's still got some talent, but he's just, I don't know, man. I just think Broner's mentally done, and his last performances have been really lackluster as well. You can just see that his heart's not in it anymore. So I don't think Vargas will put on a spectacular performance, but I think it'll be effective enough to just win a decision over AB. I'm really disappointed with AB, man. I feel like his career, even though it was never going to be the success that some of us believed, you know, like people like Jose were fucking crowning him to be the new pound for pound king, but like I still think there was massive potential for him to be in some really, really big, exciting fights, you know? Like one of them that I've always wanted to see was Broner against Danny Garcia. I think that would be really fucking entertaining build up, and I think it would be a really entertaining fight, but it's just never going to happen. And I don't know why. I think you know, if you're here anyway in the fight game, you might as well make some good money out of it. And I think, for example, Broner Garcia could do really well. So, I just think it's a shame. I think AB is still fun and entertaining, but you know, the Vargas fight doesn't really do it for me. So, yeah, I'll watch it, but it doesn't get me going.
Chu, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Jesse Vargas just throws too many punches for Broner. You know, AB, you know, grunt. Hear it 5 minutes before. Grunt. If you don't get the telegraph, you'll get the phone call, because he literally just dials it in when he fights.
You get the carrier pigeon.
Yeah, there's nothing intricate about him, you know, like in boxing, the punch that you don't see hurts you, but you see his shots coming, and he's very, I would say it's like an advanced basic, the way he fights. Even his defense, you know, he doesn't use his legs, he just stands right in front of you. Another guy who likes to hang out on the ropes, you know, he's kind of mediocre, Floyd, Philly Shell kind of thing that he does. And I just think Jesse Vargas is a bit too big for him. You know, he's like natural at the weight I don't think Adrian Broner is. And yeah, he'll just be too big, and he won't knock Broner out, but I think he'll get a decision.
Lim?
I think they're probably around the same size. I don't think Jesse's a big welterweight or super or 147 pounder. I think it's a pretty good fight. To me, I'm more interested in this fight than the Figueroa fights. I'm just glad that they could save the card. But yeah, I think with Broner, I'm just completely out on him. Like Kimo said, he doesn't throw punches, and when you don't throw punches, to me, it's a stern sign that mentally you're just not in the game anymore. You just don't have that trigger, and it's unfortunate because even though Broner has brought so much on himself, just being a shitty person, a fucking moron, like he did have something pretty good going for him when he first came out on the scene, and for him not to be able to capitalize on that it's pretty sad. And the crazy thing is that I think in time, there's still going to be dumbasses like Eli Sekbak who are going to remember him as a 4-weight champion, which is just fucking crazy to think about. Well, because people actually do pride themselves on that, and rightfully so, like other fighters do. That's what Mikey's trying to do with his career. And
he's the worst champion ever.
Well, not only that, he's the worst 4 weight division champion ever.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Pacquiao having 8 weight divisions. Like, it's really hard to justify that when you have guys like Broner who, on paper, did win 4 titles at 4 different weight classes.
And his best win's Paulie Malignaggi.
His best win is probably DeMarco at 35.
Yeah. Best performance as well.
Performance, right? Probably better performance, but this guy, he doesn't have anything on his resume, man.
I thought maybe against Figueroa he'd probably be able to beat Figueroa at 140. I think when he pulled out and Vargas stepped up to change it to 144 catch weight, which I think is more advantageous to Vargas. I think Vargas' volume and kind of pressure will just outlast Broner. Broner just doesn't throw enough these days. The last couple fights, he just waits for counters. He kind of hides behind the shoulder roll, and it's just the volume isn't there. And he just seems happy to kind of lose on points. He doesn't seem to have like a will to win anymore, which is a shame. But we'll see. Anyone else regarding this fight?
Nope.
I wanna talk about Nonito Donaire.
We'll get to Nonito in a bit, unless is it important to this card or?
No.
What the fuck? Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire.
Regarding undercard, you got Gervonta Davis against Jesus Cuellar. I didn't know which Cuellar this was when it got announced when we did our last show. It's the Cuellar that basically made Juanma pray to God when he knocked him out, and he kind of got schooled by Abner Mares. But I don't know. I would have said it's a decent fight, but the problem is it's Cuellar's first fight at 130. Plus, he's not fought since that Mares fight, which was October 16. So it was inactivity plus a higher weight class. I don't know, man. You think
is this
Tank?
The co-main, Cam?
Sorry?
Is this the co-main?
Well, I don't know. Would you count Charlo versus Hugo as co-main?
No. I'm asking from an objective standpoint, just based on the card, the billing of the card.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they kind of how they'll put the 3 fights. Obviously, we got Broner topping it, but I'm not sure how they're looking at Davis versus Cuellar and Charlo versus Centino. I'm not sure how they're gonna have it.
Gotcha. Yeah, my bad for interrupting you. What were you gonna say?
No problem. I'd favoured Tank, to be honest, but his last performance wasn't that great. He was kind of fucking playing to the crowd, even though he wasn't doing much in the ring against Francisco Fonseca. I saw him live last year in London when he fought Liam Walsh, but yeah, the Fonseca performance wasn't great. He came in overweight, lost his belt and all that. I'm not sure. I am still kind of high on Tank. I just want him to kind of show me again, make me a fan again. We'll see. You guys?
Yeah, is this? Yeah, I got something to say.
Go ahead.
You stuttering, slow, dumb talking motherfucker. I fuck with Baltimore, so nigga, what?
Lim with the sound bites this time. Go on, Lim.
That was actually good quality as well. Nice.
Thank you, bro. Oh wait, hey, shout out to OHP.
Oh man, I think
Cam, is this for a vacant title?
Huh?
This is for a vacant title. What was that? You sounded like you just said it.
Yo, Cam, I think Davis is AB 2.0, man.
Don't say it, bro.
I think the whole attitude. I think the missing of the weight. Can't you see that it's the same fucking pattern all over again?
Yeah,
like this is exactly what fucking. This is exactly what fucking happened with AB. Davis might be a bit more talented, but I think he's got the wrong fucking mindset, and it's showing all over the place, man.
I'll tell you this: when they were both coming up, like kind of where Davis is right now, whereas where AB was at his career,
AB did much more.
Career, AB was way more hyped.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And he was way more heralded. So
true.
But this is for a vacant title. Is it for the regular or the Super WBA?
It's
super, for the Super, bro. It's for the fucking Super.
Yeah.
How crazy is that shit?
Bullshit, bro.
I mean, how the hell does this player get the shot? Like, he hasn't fought since the Mares fight, and he's moving up a weight class.
Yep.
Come on, bro.
Sad, bro.
Stop
Chief?
playing with me, little nigga, because you will never be Floyd Mayweather. And I'm tired.
Fuck, I love Jamal. Shout out to Jamal, bro.
Chew, you got any thoughts on Tank Davis versus Jesus Cuellar?
Nah, not really.
Man, I want to talk about my fight. Let's go.
Wait. Lim, let's talk about Charlo and Centeno. And we were going to get into this whole social media video that Charlo put out. But yeah, what do you think?
Let me hit the pad, Coop. Come here.
Hey, how do I do this thing?
Right there, that's it.
Let me hit the pads, Scoop. Let me hit the pads, Scoop. Shit, man. Yo, I saw Hugo had his media day yesterday at the wild card, and that fucker looks bad, man. That rib injury was a real thing, and he wasn't able to train on that shit for like 3 to 4 weeks, and he doesn't look good. He looks pale. His weight doesn't look all that great. I think Charlo's gonna fucking just ambush him in 2 to 3 rounds, man.
What's your whole view on this video?
It's funny as fuck, man. That's why I fuck with Jamal, man. You know, talking shit. That's what he does. But this fight itself is just like, the video would be great if he was actually fighting a good high level fighter. But I mean, this fight doesn't really do anything for him. And I'm kind of curious as to how this, because I know this is a title eliminator or what do you call it? Just for the WBC's champion's next fight, and with the whole Canelo situation unfolding. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the winner of this fight, but you know, it's kind of a fight that I really don't give a fuck about. And to tell you the truth, I'm more interested in Gervonta versus Cuellar than Charlo versus Centeno, just because I know Charlo's going to knock Centeno out early.
Kimo, Chu, what do you think about the fight and this Instagram video that Jamal put out?
I can't even comment on the video because I haven't seen it, Cam. I'll watch it, man. The Charlos are now must-watch TV. I think they're very entertaining. I think they get it. And when I say get it, I mean being a self-promoter and putting yourself out there and just having a fucking good time. Like, these guys are talking shit to everybody. I saw the video as well not too long ago where they got in like Danny Jacobs' face as well. Like, they're just building their own brand, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what the brand is, to be honest, in boxing. Whether you're loved or hated, either way, you're gonna make some fucking money off of it. So I like it. I think they're they're taking their troll game to new levels, and I'll watch any fight. I don't really know much about Centennial, so I can't really comment on that, but I'll definitely tune in.
When you see me in person, talk that big shit. I'm talking that big shit. You little ass nigga, I'll grab you by your motherfucking nostrils and do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, you're right though. It's all about self-promotion, but the difference between, I think, these guys and AB and all them is that they train year round. And I mean, you see them even when they're not fighting. Like, these motherfuckers are in shape, bro. They train hard as fuck.
Yeah. So. And the results are speaking for themselves, right? Like, they're becoming knockout artists, and they've had some spectacular performances. So, what more do you want? I always hated on the Charlos before because I thought they were boring as fuck, but they've really turned it around. It's almost come at the same time. It's like those few spectacular performances have given them a lot of confidence boosters, and they just suddenly cranked up the personalities as well. Like, it's a really good wave that they're on.
Yeah. And yeah, that to me, I want to see Jacobs versus Jamal more than Triple G versus Canelo. Like, I really, really want to see that shit. That's a great fucking fight.
That's a great fight. Plus, it's something we've not seen either. So,
and I think
it's new, it's fresh, you know.
Exactly. And my hope is that this whole Canelo situation, I think Golovkin should fight Billy Joe. Hopefully, if they can make that shit happen sometime. And I think for me, that's going to leave Jamal and kind of Danny just kind of sitting on the side, not really knowing what to do. And the natural resolution for me would be just for those two beasts to just fucking go at it, man.
Cam, is Saunders Murray officially off now?
Yeah, it's a bit suspect, man. Just because Billy all of a sudden got a hand injury, and then this Canelo Golovkin 2 fight has been put into jeopardy, and it just seems a bit perfect timing. But that's just me.
But it hasn't been officially called off, or has it?
It has, yeah.
Okay, so then it's definitely fucking suspect.
Yeah.
He's smelling the money already. So let's see what happens.
I thought it was maybe a Frank Warren special. He's not sold out the arena, so he's kind of postponed it.
That wouldn't surprise me
to try
either.
And get some seats sold.
That won't surprise me either, but I do think it's related to the Canelo Golovkin situation. But Chu, any thoughts on the Charlo fight? And I don't know if you caught that social media video.
No, I didn't know. I've not really thoughts on the Charlos, to be honest with you. Lions only. Is he okay? But, apart from that, I don't have any thoughts.
Sure, you would get so much swag credit if you wore a Lions only hoodie in Scotland. Like, you'd be the only person with a Lions only shirt or any kind of clothing on. Like, imagine how swagged out you'd be, bro.
Actually, Lim, have you received your terrible Lions only jacket yet?
No. I tried buying it, but they haven't put that shit on the website in like 2 months already.
Ah, shit.
Pissing me off.
You say swag credit, I say dogs abuse. So,
Mate, just get the Josh Taylor gear, man. It's amazing.
Oh, really? Can I get that?
Yeah, it's on, MvChu.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
Is that Barry McGuigan affiliated website?
I don't know. It's just a sports brand, and they're selling now like proper gear, man. You've got like tracksuits and shit in like Scottish, in a tartan patterns and shit like that. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, definitely not cringy. I definitely want my money to go to Josh Taylor and not to Barry McGuigan. So, I will do my due diligence as to where it goes.
I'm glad.
All right, let's move on. Saturday, April 21st in Belfast, Clark Frampton versus Nonito Donaire. Kimo, go.
Fantastic fight. Very much excited for it. I still think
fantastic.
I think it's a great fight. I think it's great to have a legend like Donaire. Well, that's a bit strong. He's not a legend, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer like Donaire, be present in Belfast and take the challenge against Carl. So I think it's a good fight, and I think both guys have kind of slipped enough a little bit to maybe turn this into a firefight. I have a feeling
that's fair, but Donaire's fight has been so much more dramatic than Frampton's.
But he's still got. I think Donaire's still strong enough, man. I don't think Donaire's shot. I don't think he's looked bad. I think
he looked awful against Magdaleno, dude. Fucking horrible.
Yeah, he won that fight, didn't he?
No, he lost. That's where he lost.
No, he lost. He got thoroughly outboxed. That was the problem.
Yeah, by some guy who's not proven.
All right.
Yeah, but maybe Magdalena's just good. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I think Frampton is not. I don't think he's looked spectacular either. Though. Let's see what happens. I think this could be a fun fight. I honestly think so.
If it's a fun fight, to me, it would have to be Frampton just kind of going down a level. So I guess the reason why I'm not that amped about it is that I'm a fan of both guys, and I don't want to see Frampton kind of be at the level, quite frankly. Like just a year ago, we were talking about Frampton versus Santa Cruz, like leading up to the rematch, saying that Frampton was the best guy at 126, and for him to kind of be at this position, fighting a guy like Nonito Donaire in a fight that really does absolutely anything for his career, it's a little bit conflicting for me, just as a fan.
I think the Flash goes out with a bang.
Boom.
I've been waiting a night for that. If Donaire is getting beat recently, then what's he got left against, as you say, JC Magdaleno, who isn't very good looking at his box rec, but who knows? I've not really seen him fight.
Jesse's quite.
He's not.
He's
decent. He's not bad.
He's decent.
I think he's good. Yeah. I think he put on a really good performance.
Yeah, when I get down to those weight classes, I'm mostly just making it up. So, Carl Frampton, I know. Nonito Donaire, I know. these opponents, I don't. You know, in his prime, Donaire all day, every day. But he's not in his prime anymore. He's 35, and that's ancient for those weight classes. So, yeah, I've got Carl Frampton by points.
My unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think Carl's just got to go quite defensive on the back foot and just try and counter. I don't think he'd be stupid enough to just kind of stand in the pocket and trade, to be honest, because, you know, Donaire's still got the power. So I think it should be a good fight, though. Definitely, I agree with Kimo. It's good to have Donaire fighting on these shows, even though it's kind of like the very slipped, kind of almost shot version of Donaire, because I thought he looked pretty bad against Magdaleno. He just couldn't pull the trigger anymore, I don't think. But I've always been a fan of him, and especially when he was fighting 4 times a year against high level opposition. He was one of the best.
Even if you're Donaire, like, why are you taking this fight?
Money.
Yeah, money, and he hasn't really got any other direction, I guess. Like, what else is he going to do apart from retire?
He's obviously money, but I don't know. It just seems like a strange place to have potentially your last fight, because I do think this is going to be Donaire's last fight, and to have it in Belfast, it's kind of strange.
Go out with a bang.
Who knows? Maybe he's hurting. Yeah. Anything else?
To get his hand raised. That's all he wants.
Anything else regarding this fight or the card?
No, man.
All right, we'll talk about Amir now. Go ahead, bro.
Thanks, man. You know, I've been training a bit hard, you know, in San Francisco with Virgil, you know.
Sorry, man.
Virgil's ill, bro. You're with Joe Goosen now. You don't even know who you're training with.
What? Is Conor with Goosen? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, Virgil's a bit ill.
Yeah.
No fucking way. Okay, I'm picking LaGreco right now.
No. Have you seen the Greco fight?
Yes.
Mate. Fucking falling over here on the couch. What the fuck? He's with Goosen?
Yeah.
You've got Amir Khan's chin.
Have you seen the Greco fight, guys?
Dude,
Yes, Errol Spence.
He is fucking terrible.
That's true, you know. And I've got the fastest hand in boxing.
Phil LaGreco is one of these boxers who's got like as many documentaries on YouTube about him than he does fights.
Yeah. He's a culinary fighter.
Yeah, he's. Have you seen that?
Yes, it's so terrible. He had an episode where it featured him and Floyd Mayweather's 2 Guido Italian bodyguards. The 2 guys that Conor referred to as juice head turkeys, yeah? This guy's fucked. He's fucked.
I will say though, like, mind games are important, and I definitely think so far he's played a blinder. You know, getting Amir Khan to go nuts, throw some water at you.
That's hardly nuts, Chew. Like, throwing water at someone is hardly like taking a gun out and shooting at him.
In fairness though, whenever Amir Khan's lost his composure, he usually loses the fight. You know, Danny Garcia, what's the other ones he's lost? Danny Garcia,
Peterson,
yeah.
I almost lost my Dana fight, you know, but I'll come back, you know.
So, you know, so far so good for LaGreco. Yeah, Amir Khan's going to win though, surely. You know, they picked LaGreco for a reason. Too slow, I think.
Phil LaGreco reminds you of the guy who you see at the rec center, just kind of going away at the heavy bag with no rhyme or reason to anything he's doing. Like, his technique is fucking terrible. And if you guys want a good laugh, just watch Errol Spence versus Phil LaGreco. It is hilarious to see Errol Spence just fucking obliterate this guy.
One thing I will say about Amir Khan is, you know, he got in a lot of trouble when he was in the jungle. Because just before, did you hear about this, Kimo? He was in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in the UK, which is basically he was in the Australian jungle for 6 weeks, something like that, a month, I don't know. And apparently he was bullying a guy with depression. And in fairness, the guy was really annoying, and I would have probably bullied him as well, but you know, I think the kind of negative feedback he got is maybe what kind of inspired him to get back in the ring. So, you know, I think he's in a different kind of mentality now. He wants to fight Brook again. You know, he previously didn't want to. Now he wants to fight Brook. There's a plan. There's a free fight plan. He's going to get past Le Greco. He's going to have one more fight, and then Brook Khan is going to be at the end of the year, supposedly. Yeah, I personally think that Khan is not what he was, but who knows? He might be amazing. But I mean, he's been 2 years out the ring. When has anyone ever came back better?
Come back stronger.
But he's said that his speed is now better because he leaned out in the jungle, man. So he's gonna be even faster, you know.
Oh man,
the speed and the power.
I think his chin will probably be better.
Why?
Because he's more comfortable at this 150 catch weight, and
It's a 150 catch weight?
Yeah.
What? Why? Phil Greco's a welterweight.
No, previously in the run-up to this fight, Phil Greco was like, if Khan wants me, he's going to have to fight at 154. He agreed a catch weight. So, yeah, 150.
Phil Greco reminds me of the dude Danny Garcia got all that hate for, the cherry picker fight.
Rod Salka.
Yeah, he's very Rod Salka-esque in his style. So if Khan loses to Rod Salka 2.0, man, that is going to be a fucking awesome day to be a boxing fan. Kev, what do you think about this fight? I know you were in a very serious relationship with Amir Khan at one point in time.
I think it's an awful fight, to be honest, but it is 2 years. It is coming off a heavy knockout against Canelo. Like, I don't blame the fight, but Eddie's just milking it, because if you look at the undercard, he's not really. He's just basically selling Khan. The undercard is fucking awful. And it just seems that Eddie's not really going to invest in Khan until it's the Brook fight. So,
yeah, I personally think that Khan is technically the fastest hands in boxing.
The fastest.
And no, literally the fastest hands in boxing. I think speed kills, and I think he's gonna knock Le Greco out in about 6 rounds. He's gonna punish him for what he said about his wife.
Does he have faster hands than Ryan? Does he have faster hands than Ryan Garcia?
Oh yeah. Well, the new sheriff in town. Yeah, Gary Russell as well.
Well, that doesn't count because Gary Russell's arms are half the size as both those fighters.
He's got
much faster, you know.
He's got the fastest hands at 150.
Boxing.
Yeah.
I just want to fight.
All right.
Where's Mayweather, man? I want the Mayweather fight.
That's fun.
You have to fight him in MMA.
You know, he knows I don't match up well with him. You know, I'm too fast. So, yeah.
Actually, I watched Amir Khan. I actually liked him. I think he's actually quite chilled out. He's a very laid back guy. I think he regrets the Canelo fight. Like, yeah, sure, you've got your big money fight, but you got knocked the fuck out.
I'm sure when you watched the promotion between GGG and Canelo, he regretted it instantly as well.
Yeah, because he's in the background getting iced in every fucking interview.
I've never seen anybody get knocked out in so many different angles on repeat in any promotion. It's just fucking glorious.
And Chula, I don't really have any sympathy for him because everyone knew what was going to happen in this fight. So I think he knew himself, really. Like, when he was getting this big paycheck, he was getting paid to get knocked out. So I don't have no sympathy.
I mean, the reason why he went into the jungle is he wanted to maybe kind of build his brand up again with the casual. Because once upon a time, you know, he was probably where Anthony Joshua was, you know, Olympic medalist. I would say so. Yeah, he was selling out stadiums and shit. He had a lot of buzz about him.
He was a household name, Lim, over here. Like, people that weren't interested in boxing knew of him. So, yeah.
And then
his drop off is even worse than Adrian Broner then.
And then Willie Lemons happened, and you know, he always had a bit of buzz, but I mean, it was just those kind of developing fights where he could have been a lot bigger if he came through them better, I thought.
Or if he just stayed in the UK.
I don't think that's a negative thing, man. He took a risk, you know, and the guys who have beat him are the best.
And back then, Lim, to be fair, like, the British boxing wasn't thriving as much. So, alright, anything else regarding Amir?
No.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on. I think we've kind of covered most topics. Have you guys got any fights that you want to discuss, or any news that you saw that you want to discuss apart from Canelo, which we're going to get into?
I think that's pretty much the biggest news topic that we need to discuss, Cam. I'm not quite sure if there's anything that we've missed.
All right, that's fair. Let's start off with you then, Kimo.
Floyd? No, hold on. Did you say Floyd?
Yeah, Floyd going to MMA.
I don't know how fucking stupid people are. I honestly don't understand, but anybody that's puts this as a headline, whether it's Boxing Scene or an MMA site or ESPN or anybody that fucking puts this as a headline, honestly, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself, because I don't know, it's the most pathetic thing ever in the media. Like, seriously, if you give that the attention and you call yourself a knowledgeable fight fan, I mean, you're just you're just a fucking idiot, honestly. Like, I just don't understand it. I just don't. Anyway, was there any other news, Cam, that I've missed over the last few weeks? Any other fights?
What's your take on the ring car girls?
Well, I mean, I think Leon said enough, didn't he? I mean, he had the inside scoop on what some of these girls do for a living, and I think it was very insightful. So, yeah, kind of irrelevant conversation.
Kimo, kick us off then with Canelo. His two failed tests, and now the fallout might be that the rematch seems to be off with Golovkin.
Look, man, I think the PED topic in itself in boxing is a very difficult topic, because at the end of the day, we're all fucking speculating on something that's quite, scientific and requires, somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about. None of us are experts in this field. KH obviously is the most competent guy to talk to regarding this topic, along with Victor Conte. But it's just difficult, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, I fucking love Canelo, not as much as Lim probably, but I'm pretty much close up there. Enough to wear a fucking bandana of him in Vegas. And the writing is kind of on the wall with this, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't look good. Has Canelo's body kind of looked different, ever lately? I mean, he's looked pretty fucking jacked, but he always has. So I don't know how much I can take out of that. But there's definitely been some pictures circulated where people are like, oh my God, look at this. He's obviously doing steroids, where he does look abnormally fucking jacked up, right?
But they're comparing two different stages of their wake-up process.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that's really popular is the one where he was cutting weight for like Kirkland or Angulo, like when he was cutting weight, that was the week up or getting close to it, and the other one was him, I think, against Golovkin. The thing about clenbuterol is that clenbuterol doesn't add mass.
It cuts weight, actually.
It cuts a lot of weight, and it does make you look more cut and jacked because you are getting rid of excess fat, but it doesn't add mass.
True, but then think about Canelo in terms of his history. Making weight has always been something, right? It's always kind of surrounded him. The Canelo weight thing, he's missed weight, he fucks around with weight a lot. Like, it does fit the picture a little bit, right? And even though Canelo might not look as a big guy at 160, he is a pretty fucking stocky dude, and it's crazy how he's even made weight at the lower weight classes. So it does kind of fit there, but again, I don't really know. The whole precedent around, it being in contaminated meat in Mexico, that in itself is a viable story. But I mean, again, if you're a professional athlete, you need to take care of yourself, right, and not eat that shit. So especially because it's been many big stories in Mexico, you got to look after yourself. I don't really know, man. Like Cam, I don't have a real conclusion about it in terms of the PED use or whatever, because if I start questioning Canelo, there's a lot of other people I can question. But at the end of the day, it looks like the fight is in serious jeopardy, and that sucks ass. And that's
the fight's
very
delayed.
disappointing.
The fight's not happening on May.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lock, right? I mean, they're giving refunds out.
I've talked to my inside sources, bro.
Yeah.
I know. No, but I know in all seriousness, just the refund aspect. They would not be giving out refunds if the fight was taking place.
Mm-hmm.
They just wouldn't, because you would have to wait until, I think, mid-April to then repurchase tickets. And that's just not enough time to make
Plus, Lim, at least from the UFC, I know that these hearings with Nevada and this whole process, once you get suspended, and the review process is not short. You know, it's not a matter of weeks. So I don't think this will get cleared before May 5th, right? So I think that's pretty much a lock as well, given that he's been suspended now temporarily.
And the fact that the NSAC commissioner delayed the hearing from the 10th of April to the 18th, I think just to make it a little bit more formal, and not even to mention what do you call it in that little clipping that and released was essentially done by the
Lim, your mic. I don't know if you're rubbing it against something.
Oh, my bad. I was just getting a little excited after all those Charlo videos. But what I was just saying was Bennett, what he released in a statement of his was that they don't abide by the same kind of regulations as some of these other entities like VADA or USADA or WADA, in the sense that they won't believe or they won't take into consideration his location and his proximity to contaminated meat. So for them, if they take clenbuterol, that's a violation of the drug policy, point blank, period. That's it.
Yeah.
And
but even if it was like USADA where they look for an exemption, like you know for how long this shit takes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To get like a I forgot what the term was, but basically to work a case and get cleared on this would take fucking months, if not a year, right? So,
but
no.
But what I'm kind of curious about is how on earth do you even provide legal documentation that's even pertinent to the case? Like, what's your defense? Like, if you purchased meat at a carniceria in Mexico City or Guadalajara a month and a half ago, how the fuck are you going to prove that? Even if you do have the receipt, how are you going to connect the dots and say that this purchase of meat was what directly correlated to my contaminated test? That's virtually impossible.
I think the whole process. I think that whole process, even in terms of contaminated substances or supplements, like even that I don't understand. Like, how do you go back in time and prove basically that you willingly took a substance that happens to be in a supplement? Like, I can fucking do that. I can arrange that. If I'm a multi-fucking millionaire, I can easily arrange, a product in the market that is contaminated, present it, have a fucking receipt, and be like, hey guys, look. And at the same time, I'm doing fucking steroids. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not rocket science on how to do that. So I don't understand how people can get cleared. Like, it's just you're aware of a loophole basically in the system, right? If I know something's in Mexican meat, I can always use that as an excuse. So it doesn't really make sense to me, but it's out there now. I mean, what the fuck are we gonna say? I can't really personally defend it. It's I'd rather just. I mean, I'm like that, Cam. Like, I'd rather just not hear about it. And the reality being that if he does take it, I'd rather just not hear about it, because it just throws a wrench in the whole fucking boxing game. And I don't really give a shit at the end of the day. I just want to see a good fight. So,
especially because it's Canelo.
Yeah.
I do think Canelo still. I mean, I think him versus AJ, who's the bigger star in boxing, that's arguable. But if it's like, imagine this happening to AJ. I mean, it's kind of like on that same level.
Yeah.
Chu, what were you going to say earlier?
Yeah, just I think one aspect that I think he is cheating. You know, I know
Oh,
I said in the
definitely.
I think
It
you know I said in the last podcast that you know it was questionable because people were comparing two pictures that were in two different stages of his life, basically. You know, on Twitter, you know, the before and after. But, you know, the situation's fluid. All that's happened in the last month, I think the evidence is what it is. Pretty bullseye on the spot. He's been caught. You know, let's be honest with you, he's gone to a butcher like some people go to a drug dealer. You know, he's gone to his butcher and he's like, all right, give me 20 chlormidrol ribeyes and give me 2 kilograms of diuretic mince. You know what I mean? It's just like he is. That's one. See, even if you're getting contaminated meat and you know it's contaminated meat, that's just like taking a drug. You know? It's still the same thing.
I don't think clenbuterol carries over though, does it?
Well, that's their excuse. So
No. No, but I think there's a difference in it. Well, that's why this conversation is so frustrating as it is, because I believe that intent is important, but at the same time, intent is something that's impossible to actually come to a conclusion in this case, because the only person who knows intent is the actual person who consumed the drug, right?
You know,
so it's a matter of
Chepo's a butcher. Chepo's a butcher. He should know these things, you know. And
that argument, me actually, I don't really give a fuck about. I actually even care about less. Like somehow the idea that because you're a multimillionaire and in your off season you don't eat contaminated meat or poor level meat, like you can eat whatever the fuck you want. Now, is it fucking moronic that you chose to eat meat in a place that has a lot of contaminated meat? Yes, absolutely is. But at the same time, like I don't really view boxers as the most intelligent people in the world either.
No, but you know, some people train at high altitude to get an advantage. I think Canelo's drove his Ferrari to where this contaminated meat is, and he's just like, all right, give me as much as you've got. You know, like Captain America takes a super serum to get super strong. He takes a super sirloin.
Can somebody in the chat like tell us, because I feel like a complete moron right now, but just the benefits of clenbuterol transfer over if you eat meat that has been contaminated with clenbuterol? Does the effects of clenbuterol?
No. You just get traces of it in your system.
Exactly, but that's my point. That's why I feel like, you know, obviously he's not going out of his way to purchase contaminated meat, but
no, this is fucking...
it's just the idea of it. It's just the idea of it all, that this is kind of like what we're discussing is what makes this conversation so frustrating, right? Yeah. Is that we're talking about meat, like think about just us presenting to somebody who doesn't know anything about the situation and you telling them like, yeah, this person's offense is them eating contaminated meat. And they would be like, that's fucking retarded. And yeah, because it is. It's really stupid. And for this fight to be hanging kind of on this situation is really terrible. And I feel even more kind of confounded and even worse for Triple G, because this would have been a huge payday for him. And Triple G's at the point of his career where he may not get this rematch. Like it's not completely out of the realm of imagination that he doesn't fight Canelo again.
See the cow in question that's caused all this problem. It must be like the Spartacus of cows, man. It'll probably it'll be this massive cow that is fucking jacked up on drugs. I'd imagine it would lead some kind of like cattle rebellion, free the cattle from their farmer overlord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do it just because it really makes the cows really fucking lean, and it produces a fuck ton of extra meat per cow when they inject it with a little bit of clenbuterol.
Why not?
So, yeah, it's a kind of a moot point. I think Canelo is going to get suspended, and the NSEX, I think precedent has been in the past to suspend fighters at a minimum of a year, which is usually the case. So in this case, clenbuterol is considered an anabolic steroid, so he's going to get suspended retroactively for 1 year, dating back to the 17th of February. So he's going to be out for a year. But if he does abide by certain protocols, which isn't that difficult, there's been a lot of fighters who have shortened their suspensions. It's probably going to be 6 months. My guess would be 6 months. So I think he can fight in Vegas starting in August 17th.
Just one last thing. I know we all need to go, but Triple G said that he's got pictures of Canelo getting needles, like with drugs. It's like, has anyone else seen these pictures?
No.
Nope. I don't care about those Twitter doctors. So.
No, but this is what Triple G's saying.
Well, Triple G's a dumbass then. Because no, I know what you're referring to, Chu. He said he got this information from doctors over the internet.
Right.
Which is retarded.
All right. Anything else regarding Canelo?
And the biggest thing for me just regarding that is, like, even if Canelo was on some shit against Triple G's inactivity and his unwillingness to throw punches was the biggest determining factor of that fight. So I don't want to hear about that shit. Like, should we chastise Canelo for his positive test? Absolutely. But do I still think Golovkin should have beaten Canelo more clearly? Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Nah, blood.
Yeah, Paul Malignaggi is training James DeGale. Shout out to Shams 1000 for that tidbit.
What do you mean he's training? What do you mean he's training James DeGale?
Paul Malignaggi is training James DeGale.
No, I've seen him training with McDonald.
No, he's there with him too. I've seen a couple of videos.
An advisor.
But it's still his main trainer, still that dude from the UK.
Jim McDonald.
They have probably I hate when James DeGale does the mitts. They do some fucking weird shit, man.
What are you hating, bro?
Thank you.
What are you hating?
All right. Anything else, Kim?
Nah, we're done, man. I gotta go.
Why? Where are you going, bro?
Long story, bro. Long story.
I know. You gotta drive somewhere.
Yep.
Drop off some bodies.
Yep. Yo, Kimo, Chu, Lim, classic show. Always a pleasure.
Indeed, bro. Indeed.
Thank you to all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all 12 of our listeners.
There were about 18 earlier, but
check the numbers out.
All right, bro. I will do.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Thank you to all the people in the chat. Yep.
Either good at podcasting or you're not.
I guess we're not anymore. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all the people in the chat and all the people that download the show week in, week out. We'll be back next month. Peace.
You dig?
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Oh, dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically banging you, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the show, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos a Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them.
I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
Feels great. Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass. Just to play devil's advocate. You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish. Cringe side?
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you ate for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition.